Open on right. I am cold.
I am the mind freak. There's no reality.
So
Just this
apparently,
world of illusion.
apparently there's a DLC for Minecraft where you can be Dragon Ball Z characters and
I
like
saw that.
fight in a tournament and stuff. And I'm just like, so what you're saying is I could pay to play a less good version of a Dragon Ball Z fighting game.
Sure sounds that way.
That's what you're telling me.
I
Because
am the mind
doesn't look like
freak.
you can use any of that costume stuff in like the main base game. So I'm like, what's the point? Like at least with the Sonic ones, I can like still play Minecraft.
Minecraft! Minecraft! Get it instead of mind freak?
Sure,
It's a reference to Mind Freak, Jordan. Do you remember that show,
right.
Mind Freak?
I do.
Do you?
I do.
All right. I believe
He
you.
was a magician
Anyone,
and
Mind Freak! In
he did mind
three,
freaking.
2, 1. This podcast is brought to you by. That was a very strange YouTube preamble. Sorry, let's do that again. Um, in 3, 2, 1. This podcast is brought to you by the Arte Media Pantheon. Please head to artemedia.org to see plenty of podcasts from our great friends. And if you'd like to start your own podcast, they can provide you with the tools and resources to do so there. So please head to artemedia.org. That's ARETE media.org. Jordan's going to be one of those shows. Welcome to Spur of the Moment podcast, everybody. I am your host. I am he, as is thee, as is we. I am they, I am them. I'm Justin Spurr. And I'm joined, as always, by they who is we, but is also they, but could possibly be them?
No, I'm he him. I am.
It's the incredible Jordan, incredible Jordan.
I
It's the incomparable
the
Jordan, everybody.
incomparable Jordan. God, get my moniker right.
I mean, now, you gotta get those pronouns right, Jordan.
I'm he him.
He's he, him, but also them, but also they, but also we, but also the Incredible Hulk. All right. And
So
on today's
news,
show,
eh?
first off, we got a bitty bunch of Stranger Things news because it's Stranger Things week because I guess Stranger Things is coming out. And then there's a Five Nights at Freddy's 2 trailer. There's a Michael Jackson trailer. There's a Percy Jackson trailer. There's a Gremlins coming out. Miss Piggy movie. Brendan Fraser's gonna do another Mummy the World of Warcraft movie. And then after that, we're gonna talk some sports ball movies and stuff and whatnots. But first, jumping into them news. Let's start off with all that Stranger Things news. My personal favorite Stranger Things news from the week is, hey, can we make Stranger Things work without the kids? Or Stranger Things Tales from 85, which is, can we make it work without the kids? The funniest part to me, that none of the original cast reprises any of their roles.
I mean, why would they? They're done.
They're done. They're like, we're out. We're out.
Like this, that's the beautiful thing about it. And to be fair, we're poking fun at it, but like, Marvel does it all the time. The What If show and all that. Like, it's not like
Honestly,
that's not a new thing. The art style honestly reminds me of the What If
it
show.
does not bother me. I did not hate it. I was like, yeah,
No,
it's all right.
it looks
I mean,
fine. I mean, it's just I don't care.
I
There's no stakes. Like it's between season 2 and 3. There's no stakes. They
yeah,
survive whatever
they all
happens in
have
the
to
show.
survive it, and it can't be something memorable because otherwise they would have to mention it. So,
Yeah,
and
like I
this is an
just
inherent problem with Stranger Things generally is that it's not very memorable. There's a bunch of people online who are rewatching it and having to remind them of stuff that happens. Everyone's like, "Yeah, I don't remember anything." It's like, "Oh, then just watch the show." I'm like, I don't really want to do that.
I mean, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to go back and
But
rewatch.
like, yeah,
Because no, yeah,
I don't
that's the thing
remember.
with Stranger Things is it was never memorable for
I
me.
don't remember enough what happens at the end of season 2 and the beginning of season 3. I was like, in order to be like, I don't know what could happen here that could break any continuity. Nothing, I guess. I'm like, yeah, definitely. It's an '80s thing, so having an '80s style cartoon is just fun. That's fun.
Yeah, like it's I don't know.
I
It's
never hate Stranger
my
Things when
thing.
I'm watching it.
No, my thing. The way that I describe Stranger Things is, it's inoffensive.
Yeah.
Like it's never done anything where I'm like, oh, this, I mean, that's not true. There's one thing that it did which made me uncomfortable, but it very rarely does things that make me go like this was a bad choice.
Yeah, no,
Um,
nothing I could think of.
it's just it's slop.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
really the
It's
best
fun to watch
word
while
that
you're
I
watching
have
it, but
for it.
it doesn't really stick with you
It's
afterwards.
no, it doesn't have any staying power.
Not really.
Now, the one thing about Stranger Thing that always made me uncomfortable was the fact that Mike's mother and all the other moms of the neighborhood are all like goggling the red hair girl's older brother who is very much still in high school.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Um,
So at some point that I
that
like, how did
always
I never notice that all the moms are uncomfortably into
They
that character?
really, 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 really are into him when
Uh,
he's at the pool, wearing just the bathing suit. And it's like, yeah, no, that made me uncomfortable when I watched it the first time, and it has not aged well.
yeah, yeah. Um, so Jordan, the big question is, we've said it. Are these guys going to come back for more Stranger Things? And the when asked, the Duffer Brothers said officially, nah, this is the end for those characters, which tells me some or all of them are definitely going to die. 11
I
is going
mean,
to die. I don't feel
I would
comfortable
be
enough with it to lay money on it, but I would be reasonably sure she's
so
going to die.
so here's my evaluation. Um I would be shocked if 11 didn't die, but I could see how that could be a twist. Um, I would be shocked if Will Byron or Will whatever,
Yeah.
Bullhead Kid. I'd be shocked if he didn't die.
We might
Um,
as well talk about
but
while we
but
speaking of Will.
uh, but I could also see it being a thing where Finn Wolfhard's character sacrifices himself so Will does
Ah,
survive.
see, he's the only one I
Um,
could see who's willing to keep doing this. Him and Dustin,
and
Maserati. He'll do a spinoff.
Dustin, I see surviving. I don't remember the character's name, but the black kid who has the sister, I see him surviving. I don't
Steve's
see.
definitely surviving.
I yeah, I could see him.
Only because he's like, you'll
Hopper
all be happy
Hop
with how my character ends. I'm like, nobody says that if their character dies.
Hopper's dying.
Oh, for sure he's dying.
Will's mom is
Oh,
dying.
for sure.
Will's brother is
Most
dying.
all of the adult characters are gonna bite it.
Will's older brother is going to die,
Like they
which is why I say I think that Will might survive because he was the one that was originally taken. So it's like it's sort of symmetry that he is the one that
yeah.
gets to survive.
I think
Who else is
Will
there?
probably become Vecna if I had to guess.
Oh, and it'll be like a time loop thing,
Well, just
or
they'll have to beat or kill him in order to stop Vecna, and that'll be his version of sacrificing himself. Vecna wants to
maybe
like become Will.
maybe maybe, but I could also see it being a thing where like one of the other cast then like in the final moments of dying like takes his place so he survives.
I don't know. The show doesn't seem that clever. So yeah, we might as well talk
That
about.
see, it's funny that you say that because I don't think that's clever, and I think that's
Um,
exactly the kind of thing the show would do.
Speaking of Will,
I don't think that's a clever twist. I think that's a very on the book brand, like very
yeah.
much a twist that
Um,
they would do.
Speaking of Will, let's talk about those awful first 5 minutes that I sent you that weren't even 5 minutes.
You did not send me.
I definitely sent it to you.
No, you didn't.
The one
You
with
sent me the trailer for, and maybe it didn't go through, but you sent me the trailer for the 3D one. You sent me the trailer for the Michael Jackson movie, and you sent me the trailer for the whatchamacallit, the Sea of Monsters. You sent me
damn,
those three things,
dang it, it didn't send. Anyway, did you
which
watch
is
it?
fine because no, I didn't go and watch it. I don't. I'm gonna watch it when it comes out. I won't.
Um,
I'm not
ba-
doing that.
Basically, it's young. They're really proud. I don't know if you remember the digital de-aging effect from the last season where they made 11 look like a young kid again.
Vaguely.
Well, they're real
Not.
proud of
I
that.
mean, short answer, no. I remember like nothing of the show
Um,
after 10 minutes of me watching
so the
it.
short
So,
version is they're very proud of that because basically it's an extended flashback sequence of when Will gets captured at the beginning of season one of him as a young kid, and it looks bad. It looks horrendous. It looks awful. And like I saw all these people be like, "Oh, they had this plan all along." It's like, no, they didn't. They had this plan all along. They would have filmed something when that character was like young and not done this horrifying digital de-aging monstrosity that needs to die.
Fair enough.
I got nothing. I hate it.
I don't know how to say it any nicer than I already have. I really don't care about Stranger Things. It's not, I don't, like, it's one of those ones where it's like when it comes out, I'll put it on in the background and I'll watch it. But like,
I'll
I
spend
don't
the two
have,
hours watching that finale.
I don't have strong nostalgic feelings for it. It's not one like,
No, but
if it was like,
there are kids
if
out
it
there
was
who
like,
are
no,
though,
I mean that, and that's fair. But like, I'm saying for me, like,
which
if
is
it had come out when
weird.
I was like 10 or 12 or 11 or whatever, or like younger, then yeah, maybe I would have this like, oh my God, I have to see how this, but I just, it died for me like 10 years ago when the last season ended and they
Yeah,
didn't do
fair.
anything.
The last
I
season, which was a
stopped,
perfectly suitable finale for this series.
yeah, I
Yeah,
stopped caring at that
they beat
point.
the big bad guy. There really isn't. They're gonna have another final showdown with the big bad guy. The people, the characters who have actors. That, I mean, maybe it's the fact that we do this, but yeah, it's just really obvious. All the actors who don't want to keep doing this are gonna die, and all the actors who have a passive interest in coming back for a spinoff are gonna live. It's really obvious. It's really transparent. It's really annoyingly transparent if you're familiar with how acting in Hollywood works. Like, obviously, Millie Bobby Brown's probably gonna die because she has a clear disdain for this franchise. And if you're like, no, she doesn't, you need
Yeah,
to
well,
watch an interview with her talk about this franchise.
I don't
She
think it's
does
fair
not
to like,
care.
I don't think it's fair to lay that as a negative thing on any of their feet. You're saying it like it is, and I don't think it's
No,
fair
it's
to
not
do
their
that
fault.
because to me it's the equivalent of when the Harry Potter stars
Yeah,
got
but
to
it's
the end of the
so
last
much
one,
worse because they
where
made 8 movies.
where
These guys made 5 seasons of television when other shows made 10 seasons
right,
of television in
but
10
time,
years.
I'm saying time wise, it ended up being about the same, where
I
it was
know,
about 10
but
years.
they have less to show
And
for
so
it.
it's like, yes, I know, I get that. But I'm saying that's not her fault or any
No.
of their fault. They're stuck, like contracted to
Oh,
do
I
this.
don't
They
disagree
don't
with
have a
you.
choice. Like
I'm just saying
you're saying it like it's a negative thing, like they don't want to keep doing it.
they don't. Well, no,
Like,
not all of them. No, no, no. I'm saying it about her. I say she doesn't want to keep doing it. I don't know.
yeah, would
I don't.
you?
No, but I don't blame her. But
Exactly.
she's the least transparent about it, so I'm going to make fun of her for it.
Um, like it's just, yeah, I don't, it was. It was never that good of a show to begin with. I don't know why people are so obsessed with it.
Because it took 10 years to do what they should have done.
Yeah, so we should just let it come out and not really acknowledge it.
That's nah. Weirdly, people want to pretend that this has still been a thing when that show fell off the planet for 5 years. Like, nah, I'm
Like
not
to
giving
me,
it.
it's the same as like the Invincible show, where it's like when it takes half a year for, but at least that has the excuse that it's animation.
This one,
But
that
like
show's been way better though.
when it takes half a year for me for a thing to come out, I lose interest.
The Invincible was at least. I mean, yeah, they're between 2 and 3. It was like multiple years, but now they're doing one show a year, which like is like the bare minimum.
I'm not specifically picking on that show. I'm just
But
using it
like,
as another
yeah,
example.
if they had not taken 10 years to take for that show to come out, nobody would be interested in this. Not nearly in the way everyone's like, oh my god, it took them 5, and I think everyone's gonna be way more harsh on it as a result. I certainly am.
I think the reason why it
Why did it
annoys
take you
me
10 years to get to this? Come on.
is it kind of just it's given me real and it's not even fair because this is the original, like this is the people, but it's given me real like release the Zack Snyder cut energy, and I don't
Yeah,
care.
yeah. I'm just for me, it's yeah. My only interest in it is just to know how right I am about which characters die. It's more of like a sports
Yeah, but
betting thing
I
than
don't need
anything.
to I don't need to sit there for like a 4 hour thing to kind of I
No,
can just Google
it's like I
that.
said before. The thing that will make me not watch that is its length. So if
Yeah.
that finale is 2 hours long, I can't. I don't have the time. It'll take me 10 years to watch it. I'll have to watch it in chunks, in pieces, and that's not really the way it's meant to be watched. There will be a part of
I
me
mean,
that will be tempted to go watch it if it comes, like if it
I'll
comes
have to
to theaters
I'll have
close
to
to me.
I'll have to treat it like a movie, and
Yeah,
so that means that like I'll watch it Like if it's like 10 episodes and each episode is 10 or 2 hours, that means that it's going to take me 10 weeks to watch because I'm going to have to watch it on a
I
Saturday
can't
or a
lie.
Sunday when I don't have anything to do with the show.
I can't lie and say that I'm not kind of interested in watching it in theaters if it were somewhere something that was accessible to me. That'd be kind of
Eh,
fun.
eh.
Um,
I'd have to, before I would want to do that, I'd have to go back and watch the original seasons.
yeah. That show it's too long. It's too long, and it makes it a difficult show to re-examine. Because like, yeah, I don't want to go back and watch season five's hour-and-a-half long finale. No, or two however long, god awful long that finale was. Like, yeah, that show is too long. I stand by that. So guess what got
Well,
delayed again,
yeah,
George? Speaking of
for
taking
me,
forever.
it's not even just that it's too long, which it is. It's too long, and there's not enough creatively interesting things there to make it warrant the
The thing about
length.
Stranger Things, I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's really, really good at setting up a mystery where you're like, ooh, what's going on? What's happening? What's going on here? And then you get to the end of the season, and there's the big twist is that the big scary thing is just a boring looking monster. Up until the fifth or the fourth season, where the bad guy was actually a bad guy and was fun to
Yeah,
was yeah. Vecna is the best bad guy in all of those series. It's more interesting than the Mind Flayer, than the Demigorgon,
because
than
he has a
all of them. He
personality.
has a personality and he has a backstory. The rest of them are just kind of boring. Anyway, moving on. That was our Stranger Things news for the week. Jordan, speaking of things that have taken forever to come out, you'll never guess what got delayed again.
Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto 6 got big time delayed again. And it's like, the only reason why I kept this in because I thought it was funny. There's a clip of Gaten Mazzarato being like, we put out a whole Stranger Things. I was like 10 when the last one came out. I thought that was funny. Like, we made a
I
whole
saw,
Stranger Things.
yeah,
A whole Stranger Things came out before GTA 6.
yeah, I saw that. That made me laugh.
Oh, that's funny. And like, yeah, it's true. And I saw so many people like, this game better be fucking amazing. Better be like
I mean,
the best
what
game.
all I can say to that is the jump from 4 to 5 was pretty staggering. So yeah, I can like Rockstar for all their flaws, when they put out a new game, it's usually in like
What are they going
relatively
from?
speaking, they're going for 5 to 6.
No, but I mean, was five on was five on
Five
PS3 or PS4?
five was originally on PlayStation 4, I believe,
Oh, okay.
and then it's been ported over to 5. It might have been.
Are you sure it wasn't on three?
I was gonna say it might have been on
I
three.
think
I
it
think it
might
was
have
on
been on
three
three
or
because I think the port
hold on.
GTA
What?
5 the port. I'm pretty sure it's three because I'm pretty sure the PS4 port had the first person view,
Yeah, now that you're saying that, I think you're right.
which was fun by the
Originally,
way. The first person view is really fun, but that's
it
wild.
changes
Then
things too.
it absolutely changes things. That's wild. If it really was a PS3 game, I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, no, it was. It originally came out on
That's
PlayStation 3 and Xbox
wild.
360.
That's wild.
So
Wow.
that game has gone through three
Then
generations.
yeah, there will absolutely be an improvement. Then I look. I
I've heard so many
recently
rumors about what's supposedly going to be in that game that I'm just like, if even half of them are true,
I,
that's going to be
I've seen a
wild.
bunch of leaks of the map, and yeah, there's a bunch of shit in there. They're like,
It's
man, that
apparently
game looks fun.
it's a really big map, apparently.
Yeah, apparently it's massive. Look, I wasn't super into GTA until I beat the fifth one recently, and I was really into that. And I was surprised by how much I enjoyed that game. So like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie and say I'm not. Who's not excited for GTA 6? I mean, come on.
I mean, yeah, right. Like
That was the first news story
I
we did on this show was a story about GTA 6.
was it actually?
Yeah,
Huh.
and then
Um,
we ended up re-recording and I cut it.
huh, funny. Um, yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed GTA since GTA 4, um, with Nico Bellic.
Yeah,
Uh,
let's go
but
bowling.
five really, that one was a really. Yeah, from 4 to 5, and then it kind of is my point. From 4 to 5, the map size, like what they put into that game, was such a leap. So I absolutely believe that from 5 to 6 is going to be another huge one. And Red Dead Redemption did the same thing, where
I just realized we
the
didn't do sound check. So keep talking. I'm listening.
the the leap from Red Dead Redemption 1 to Red Dead Redemption 2 was also pretty
This
enormous.
is true.
So,
This is true. Yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2 is really, compared to 1, is really pretty.
and I hear they're working on a 3.
I heard that. I heard they're working on a 3.
Uh,
I heard that it's gonna. At one point, I heard they were working on a prequel.
oh, see, the rumor that I heard was that it was going to take place after 2 and it was going to be a new gang and it was going to be like further down in the timeline.
Oh, that would be interesting. See, I had heard that it was gonna be. There was one point that was leaked that they were gonna do one where you played as Butch.
I just I don't need it. I don't need it to go. I don't need a prequel to the prequel.
Yeah, I don't
Like
disagree.
I would like it to be a sequel to Red Dead 1 or even have it take place at the same time as Red Dead 1 and have you be a different character, like a different part of a different gang, different character, no relation to the previous two at all, and it's just in the same world.
That'd be fun. I'd be down for that.
And like it'd be cool if like maybe if they really wanted to have like a tongue-in-cheek fun with it, and it took place during the time of the Red Dead 1, it would be funny if on one of your missions you see what's his name from the first one doing one of the missions that he did
Doing
in the first
crime.
one,
That would be pretty
doing
fun.
crime or something. Like that'd be funny.
That'd be
That'd
pretty
be a
funny.
nice little nod.
I
But that's what
just
I want. That's what I want out of
I
the third
just
one.
want to
I
ride a
want
horse and lasso people.
I wanna I would like it to be different, not just another one of the gang.
Yeah, I can see why you'd say that. Okay, Jordan. Moving right along. Jordan, what happens in the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 trailer, which came out this week, which I thought it was funny that the guy who plays Billy Loomis is in this as well now. As I'm guessing the father of
Is
one
he?
of yeah, he's
I don't think I saw this trailer.
oh, I assumed you had. Oh, dang, I should have sent it to you. Basically, he seems to be the father of one of William Afton's victims. He's like one of those like I've got a cork board. I'm doing the investigation on my own. This
Oh,
is the thing types, and you get to see a bit more of the toy Freddy and the so I don't as a person who is unfamiliar with this what separates them from the regular. Are they just other kids and they're just
uh,
psychotic?
so
2 minutes or less.
that's a complicated answer. Short version depends on what where it depends on what when you were to ask me. Because nowadays, in terms of the lore, those original games, as far as I understand it, are uh in universe. They were created by a rogue developer who is a self-insert character for Scott Cawthon, the guy who actually made the games. And so, in the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's now, it's questionable how much of the lore from those original games actually matters. Um, if you were to ask me like 10 years ago when those games were the only things that existed, as far as I understand what the toy ones are, it's supposed to take place after the first one. So the murders have already happened, but the toy animatronics aren't cursed, I don't think. They're just programmed. So like they're supposed to be programmed to look after kids. And so they go after
Gotcha.
if you're there like if you're in the building at nighttime, they think that you are or they're also programmed to stuff any endoskeletons back into their costumes. So in terms of the game, from what I remember, they think that you're an endoskeleton which is not in his like suit, which is why one of the game mechanics in that second game is you have the mask that you put on to hide from them so that they don't attack you.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
That's what I recall of the lore of the game.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. So like,
But I'm not an expert, so
because like, it's I mean they all look the same, so like I can kind of tell that they're different in this trailer, but like it's hard to tell the difference. So
yeah,
it looks like
the
they're now it's like a Terminator 2 situation where the animatronics from the first ones are like protecting the kid from the new ones is what it looks like.
here's what I'll say. When it comes to Five Nights at Freddy lore, it's messy, Justin. Um, I don't know what they're going for in this. I just know that Toy Bonnie is Matthew Patrick.
I do know that. I do know that, and they don't really appear to talk in this, so I don't know what that means. You do see way more of this. You get to see some Matthew Lillard in there when he's young. He's younger. He
Hmm.
comes back. Jordan.
Matthew Lillard.
Matthew Lillard.
He's the bad guy.
He's the bad guy. He's in the trailer a bunch.
You see him as a young guy?
He's
Oh, I
younger,
guess in a flashback, you mean? Okay, yeah.
in like a flashback or like a dream.
Yeah.
It's not really made clear. Um, so Jordan, I have not seen any of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, so I thought it would be funny. And from what I can tell from this trailer, is it
I watched
appears
the
to
first
be
season.
well, it appears to be because I know they made two movies, and the second movie is the Sea of Monsters. So this is the
Yep,
Sea of Monsters. So does
yep.
this look more accurate to the books? Because I know you've
Uh,
listened to the books.
it's been a while since I listened to the books. I'd have to go back and rewatch them. But immediately, one of the things that I noticed that, and I mean, this is just a result of the fact that they're human beings who grow. They seem too old
Ah,
now.
yeah.
They didn't when the first season came out. They were the proper age, but like in the books, like from what I remember anyways, again, going off my memory, which is shit, in the first book, they're supposed to be like 10 or
Yeah.
11. And in the show, I think they were like 12 or 13.
Books and comics like to make
When,
kids 10 and 11, and that's a rough age to work with in terms of Hollywood because most
yeah.
kids go through major growth spurts. So,
And so like by the time of the second book, I think they're supposed to be because it's supposed to be like the next summer or whatever. I think they're supposed to be like 12 or 13 in that one. Whereas in this trailer, and maybe I'm just a bad judge, but in this trailer, they look like they have to be 15 or 16 to me, if
yeah,
not
I would
older.
have said that. I would agree with that. That's what they look like to me.
So they look older than what I would have thought the books were or what I remember them being, but that also makes sense to me with a TV show. In
Yeah,
terms of
TV
what
shows, not
actually
books.
happens in it, uh, it's been too long since I've listened to the book to really judge for sure. But the first season, from what I remember, because I watched that closer to when I had listened to the books, and from what I remember, the first season was more accurate than the movie was for sure. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was fairly accurate as well.
That makes sense.
I don't think they ever did the third book though in terms of the
No.
movies.
This would be as far as they've gone, but I don't know if they're gonna wind up getting to a third season, but we'll see. I guess.
My one issue with the and this is more just a result of you and I doing this thing. I don't like when shows like this or like the Marvel ones or like any of those, I don't like when they have a trailer like this. It makes it look like a movie.
Yeah, well, that's because it basically probably
I
paces out like a
why
movie.
sure, I get that, but it shouldn't look like a movie.
No, I know.
You've made it. I'm now waiting for this to come to theaters. Like that looks like
Yeah,
it should be going to
it's
theaters.
not. It's a Disney Plus show.
Like there's you should have it be where it's like it looks like one of the quick blurbs that you have when you like click on it before you watch it, where it shows you like a little bit of what's going to happen in the movie. That's all it should be. I don't need a full trailer. The full trailer makes it look like a movie.
Fair.
That's
That's
not
fair.
me complaining about this show specifically. It's just a like Hollywood.
No. That's
Stop doing that.
stop it. Splish splash, Jordan. So let me ask you this question, Jordan. I know you've been
Well,
like,
in unrelated news, old man yells at cloud.
get off my lawn, Jordan. I know you said no to the Fire and Ash movie, but would this make you consider watching it? They've revealed that the
Fire
first
Avatar,
Avatar Fire and Ash,
the blue people one,
Blue People
right?
one, yes.
The one
Um,
that's really the one that looks really long and really boring.
Jordan, what if I told you that before that movie, there is a trailer for Avatar Doomsday? Avatar, damn it. There's a trailer for Avengers Doomsday. A first look, if you
Well,
will.
what I would say is wait a week or two and that'll end up on the internet and then you don't have to watch Avatar.
I mean, what if, Jordan? What if that doesn't happen and it's an exclusive trailer that you can only see in front of Avatar?
Well, then I would consider myself blessed when I go to watch Avengers that I didn't see anything that would spoil me, and I didn't have to watch Avatar.
Dang it. He's right. But, Jordan, they confirmed that, yeah, it's probably going to be in front of that movie.
I mean, that's cool. And people who want to go watch that movie will get stuff spoiled for them by that trailer, especially if you're us and you know how the sausage is made. Trailers ruin things.
It does. You know we're going to end up watching it, right?
You're gonna really have to sell me.
Apparently, Jordan, apparently, Apparently, they'd be making Gremlins
You're
3.
you're you're exclusively paying for the popcorn on that one.
Apparently, they're making Gremlins 3, Jordan. They've announced Gremlins
Oh,
3
like 20 years too late.
with
Another one of those?
directed by Steven Spielberg. Yeah, yeah, it kind of does feel 20 years too late, doesn't it?
Maybe that's just me being a cynical asshole, but I mean, hey,
Yeah.
at least these characters aren't like real people who are too old.
Yeah.
You know, there's CGI because they're not going to be using puppetry or anything. They're CGI monsters and completely new humans that have nothing to do with any of the original movies.
I'm sure. Sorry, I got distracted looking at her next story.
Okay, Justin, pull it together. You're dying. You're dying on air. Justin, stop it.
And I
Stop
laughed
it.
because it was really funny.
Oh, and
Which
here I
it,
thought you laughed at
which
my joke.
which put me it made my throat dry. Jordan, Disney is campaigning for a surprising Marvel movie for Best Picture. Jordan, what Marvel movie do you think that is? It's not the one
Fan,
you
fan,
think, let me tell you.
Fantastic Four First Steps.
Really? Oh, I would have gone to the Defenders. That's the only one of those that I would qualify as being actually good.
That's not a movie.
Not the Defenders. The other team up one. Thunderbolts.
Oh, no, that one's not good enough to win Oscars.
I disagree. It's better than Fantastic Four.
That's not what we said. We said which one is more likely to win Oscar movies. Good movies don't win Oscars.
I mean, they don't win Oscars, but they get nominated. I mean, that one had a point. Of the two, I would have definitely got Thunderbolts. Anyway, that's not the one, Jordan. It's the third one, the one you didn't think of, because it's hilarious that they would even suggest it.
Avengers Doomsday?
No, Jordan, Captain America 4.
Civil War?
Captain America 4, Brave New World, one with Anthony Mackie.
Oh, the Captain Falcon movie. Oh.
Yes, they're
The
hoping that.
sorry. Roll it back. Oh, the Red Hulk movie.
The Red Hulk movie, yes. Jordan, so now you understand why I laughed. Because it's funny.
Yeah, it's
Because
the
that's
worst
funny.
one that you could possibly
Of
nominate.
the three, it's the worst one. That
Yeah.
was the worst one.
I
What
mean,
are you
obviously
doing?
the Oscar Beatty one would have definitely been Fantastic Four. I mean,
I don't know. I see. I think the one that's
you know,
about.
the one that's about heart and family and coming together and teamwork
See, but
and
the Thunderbolts is about.
a big space guy who's gonna walk around downtown,
I mean, look,
making his way
I
downtown.
want Galactus to win an
And
Oscar as much as the next guy, but the
and
Thunderbolts
you
is about mental distress and mental health. Jordan, it's about coming to grips with your mental illness. It's Hollywood to a T.
I mean, so is Fantastic Four. I could see either of them.
They're both evil. The point is, not Captain America 4.
No, that's the
That
least
movie
one
was
that
bad.
I mean, I suppose maybe that one wins
I gave
because
that
it's
movie a lot of grace, but it was bad.
I suppose that one gets nominated because it's a political drama, which is has to do with race. But
I guess. I don't know. That's bad. That's, yeah. No. No. Justice says no. Veto. I'm vetoing Marvel. No for you, for your.
I mean, come on, you're gonna
Although,
allow that to be nominated, but you're not gonna allow Minecraft to be nominated Oscars. Come on,
yeah, I mean, come on.
Minecraft for Oscars. Come on,
No,
jeez,
neither of them.
we're leaning into this. Come
Not,
on,
no, we're not. We're leaning all
Jack
the way
Black's
out.
gotta win. Jason Momoa, they gotta
No,
come on,
that's
Oscars.
all the way out. We are all the way out of this. Absolutely not.
We're full in. We're leaning in.
So Jordan, they announced a new. I'm honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm kind of really excited for this. Like, I was already really excited for this, but then I just read who was involved in this, and I became even more excited about this. Number one, they've announced a new Muppet movie.
Oh yeah, I heard about that with
Number
Miss Piggy.
two, it's Miss Piggy, a Miss Piggy movie with and with Emma Stone and Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Badass. That is awesome. That
It's like a feminist type one or something like that.
Great. That no one is number one. Miss Piggy deserves her own movie. Of those characters, she's one that absolutely deserves her own movie. I don't want Kermit to anywhere near this friggin' thing. I don't even not even if it's because he's the wrong voice, but just because no. No, I want Miss Piggy to get all the attention. I want her to get all the spotlight. The only thing I want more than a Miss Piggy movie is a Fozzie the Bear movie. I want a Fozzie the Bear stand up special. Like it's like my dream. I saw a clip of him doing like a Netflix stand up special as like part of like a Seth Rogen sketch, and I was like, oh my god, I would totally watch a like weird meta Fozzie the Bear stand up special. Like
That'd be funny.
I would, it would be so good. But I am so stoked for this. Like I think Jennifer Lawrence is super funny. Like I think she's super funny. I obviously think Emma Stone's very funny. Like they have the sense of that dry sense of humor that I think
They
just
absolutely do.
goes with
Yeah.
the Muppets. That is such a great combination. There hasn't been a good Muppets movie in a while. I've espoused my affection for the Electric Mayhem show, but like if it's even as half as good as that show, I am all the way in. I'm all the way
I
in.
I
This
don't I
sounds
don't
great.
know I don't know like if they've said anything about what the plot is, but if not, here's my 2 second window door pitch, and it's just a title name: Miss Piggy Takes Hollywood.
I like that. I also kind of want, I kind of want a kind of like Miss Piggy gets her groove back, where it's basically, it takes place after that period of time where her and Kermit broke up, and it's her like basically it's like how she got that ABC talk show. It's like that period of time of her like rediscovering herself post breakup.
Yeah, but usually with these movies, they usually do them like where it's a modern thing, like that the canon of
No, I know,
the
I
Muppet
know, I
movies.
know.
So like I want it to be a thing where it's like, yeah, Miss Piggy like goes to Hollywood and like she tries to start her own studio or something like that,
That would be
and
funny.
then like the man keeps trying to keep her down and really lean into and make it like a real not like a joke about feminism, but like a joke with feminism ideas in there.
I think that would be funny. I'm unreasonably excited for this. I really hope it goes through.
I'm
It
pretty
happens.
stoked.
Disney, don't fuck this up. I know that you're gonna Disney this up and fuck this up somehow. Don't fuck it up.
Don't fuck it up.
Don't fuck it
Don't
up.
fuck it up.
So
Emma
like,
Stone. Keep creative control, Emma Stone.
okay, here's the thing. So they've been talking about making the Mummy 4, Jordan, and part of me feels like I should be excited about that, but the other part of me is like, is Brendan Fraser gonna be able to do the Mummy physically?
So yeah, I heard something about that. And as a person who doesn't have a deep nostalgic love for the Mummy and really only truly discovered it as an adult, um, I'm just gonna say it. I don't need him to do an Indiana Jones where we have really old, really out of shape Brendan Fraser come and try and do a movie series that he did when he was younger and in way better shape
I
and have it
don't
be and have it
disagree. Yeah,
and have it be sad. I
right.
really don't
I
need
don't
that.
need that, but also I am kind of down for like he's like they basically do um
There's one way. There's one
he's
way that I
Sully
want it.
basically.
So
That's the only way
that
I'm
I
into
would
this.
I would accept that, but there's one way that I would be okay with this. And that's where, and I feel like it's going to be similar to what you're thinking of, but you bring back from the second one the actor. Specifically, you have to bring back the actual actor who played their son.
Yeah,
And you have it be where they basically set it up where like he's the new Brendan Fraser, and so like
they tried
Brendan
that. It
Fraser
didn't work
goes
so
goes
well.
along with him, and he's too old and he can't do any of the things, and he's the new one, and then at the end of it, Brendan Fraser like dies.
Like number one, you got to retcon the last one. Number one,
Yeah,
it's got to be in Egypt. I don't know if you bring back Emotep, but I would. My pitch would be to bring back Emotep, and yeah, I'd definitely do a like, do what similar thing to what you did with the third one. Yeah, where you bring back someone playing. See, I don't know that I'd say son. I'd go so far as to say grandson. You have his grandson come in. That way you can recast if you want.
I would say son and grandson. To me, the son
Um,
has to be there.
And then you have it where it's like, yeah, he's a grandpa now, and then he doesn't have to do the physical shit anymore, or he can do way less of the physical shit.
Like I would have it start basically where they're like at a family gathering or something, and the son is there and he's like really bookish and nerdy and he's not really. And yes, this would retcon the third one, I think.
Gotta
But
retcon the third
he's
one.
he's basically Gohan,
Yeah.
where it's like he doesn't do the action stuff, but then like his son, which would be Brendan Fraser's grandson, is really into the other he likes doing parkour and stuff like that maybe, but he's not into the Egypt stuff. And it's like the point of the movie is like the three generations have to come together to solve the mystery or something like that.
Okay. Now maybe this is my fault, right? Maybe this is my fault. So I read this article and I got real excited because it says new World of Warcraft movie Eblin gets star-filled cast. And so I'm like, Eblin, I don't recognize that name, but I'm like, oh, maybe it's a sequel to the previous one, and Eblin's just some World of Warcraft character that I don't recognize the name of. And so then I'm reading this article, and it says it's a biographical drama, Eblin, based on the real life story of World of Warcraft player Mats Steen. He was best known for his heroic online persona as Eblin in the popular online video game. What? And he apparently died in 2014 of Duchenne. I don't know how to pronounce that. Muscular dystrophy. And it apparently is about his
Okay.
life.
Who?
Eblin.
Eblin? I don't know who that is.
It's spelled Ibelin. I'm sure there's probably people who know who he is who's yelling at us in the comments right now. That was immediately disappointing.
That is disappointing.
I was like,
They
not
need,
that I don't want to be rude and dismissive and be like, who cares? But that is a misleading title of an
I mean,
article.
I'm gonna be rude. Who cares?
I'm sure there are fans of Eblin out
I'm
there
sure
going.
there are. I'm not one of
I'm
them.
sure
Anyways, moving on.
I'm sure they exist. I'm sure they're real somewhere. That's the news. Anyway, today's show, as always, is once again, and it continues to be because the government, SPCA, all these guys are bearing down on them. They're having difficulty. They need to move. And that is, once again, Wild Education. Please click the link in our description to go check out their GoFundMe. If you're local, they got all sorts of fun activities. They had like a Halloween thing, and they have an option where you can donate directly to them. You just gotta click the link in the description below. And also, today's episode is also sponsored by our friend Virus Fox and his band, his new band R69. They have a podcast called the R69 Podcast where they explain something that we're still trying to understand and figure out. But it's something called the R69 verse. We don't fully get it, but they do, and that's what's important. And they will explain it all to you, all the everything you get when you do that over at the R69 Podcast, which the link is in the description below. Go check them out. They have a new song coming out, a new song that they're promoting. There's big things going on with those guys. They're friends of ours. Go check them out. R69. Check them out. R69 Podcast. On with the show! This is it.
Woo!
On today's show, we're talking everyone's favorite thing. We're talking redemption. We're talking failure. We're talking our worst episode. We're talking sports ball. That's right.
Sports
We came
ball.
back to sports ball because we did a sports ball episode at the beginning of this show, and it was bad. It was our worst episode. It is our shortest episode, and I wanted to come back to it. I wanted to take a stab at some more sports ball movies. And also, I really wanted to watch The Smashing Machine. We're going to talk about The Smashing Machine. Spoiler alert. Anyway, Jordan, what was your first sports ball movie? Oh, yes, we have to establish the sports ball movie rules. I forgot that. So I realized every sports ball movie, especially a team sports ball movie, follows a criteria of a checklist. Number one, There is a kid who is a little downtrodden. He has no friends, or he is new, and he must make a new friend. And he joins the sports ball team, where there is a rough and tumble and rough coach who has a heart of gold, and there's a series of rough kids who are all troubled in some way, and they bond with the coach, and they all come together and beat the bad sports team. Those are the rough. That's the rough. Every sports ball movie has at least one or more of those things. Am I wrong?
I think you covered the bases.
I covered all of the bases, right? Am I wrong?
Put a comment in the comments down below and tell him whether or not he is wrong.
I'm,
So my first movie
so Jordan, those are the questions we aim to
is
answer. Talk while I get water.
my first movie. So you picked BASEketball, which was, not a real
Spoiler.
sport.
Spoiler alert.
Well, I have to set up mine. Um, you did that, and it's not a real sport. So I was like, well, you know what? If he's gonna not pick a real sport, I'm going to pick a not a real sport. So I picked the movie Rollerball, um, which I'm sorry, it's really hard to concentrate when I'm talking to no one.
I'm here. I'm listening.
Um, it's dystopian science fiction sports film. It takes place in the quote not too distant future, unquote, which is ruled by a corporatocracy.
Oh, yes. Good old corporatocracy.
And so the film focuses on the rollerball sport, which I have to be honest, I don't didn't really understand the rules of the rollerball.
Okay. Okay.
Because like
Explain them to me as
so
you understand them.
it was essentially like a variation of the roller skating thing where they go around and around, but
Roller
like
derby.
they have like a spiked ball, and they have like a Vespa which they drive on, which they hold on to, and then they have like spiked gloves
All right.
which they can use to beat the shit out of people. And
Okay.
it's supposed to be like a death sport. Like you can kill.
I
And
understand.
I don't really understand the rules
The
of
rules
the
are there are no
sport.
rules. No, I hate that's a big pet peeve of mine in sports movies. In fake sports movies, where it's like they're inventing a sport, you have to have firm established rules that your audience can follow.
Yeah, which I mean to be fair, it might have been hard for me to follow because and this isn't in and of itself a criticism, it's just a statement. It came out in 1975.
I'll do it.
So
I'll do it.
filmmaking techniques were a little bit different, is all I'll say.
I'll do it.
Um, yeah, I don't really have a lot more to say about this. It's one where I'm aware I watched it, but it didn't really stick with me.
That's fair. That's
But
fair.
it was definitely not a real sport.
Now here's the thing, right? What is a real sport? Jordan, that transitions nicely into my next thing. What is a real sport? That's the
A real
question.
sport is one that exists in reality,
Right, but
Justin.
Jordan, what is existing in reality but a game that can be played in real life? A game that can be played functionally. And Jordan, my next movie, you may argue, is not a real sport. I would say that its director created the sport in his driveway and they played it, therefore, real sport. Now, Jordan, we're obviously talking about the classic BASEketball,
BASEketball.
starring the South Park boys themselves, Matt Stone and Trey Parker. Cue the trailer. Now, Jordan, you would say that BASEketball is not a real sport. I would say that it is in fact based on a sport that the director, David Zucker, invented. So, if you're going to be like, if it's a made-up sport, are all sports not made-up sports, Jordan? What qualifies a sport as a real sport, if not that it is played competitively? Which this was, technically. Therefore, real sport.
No, not a real sport. To me, in order to be recognized as a real sport, it has to be played either regionally in an entire region of a place. So, like,
All
for
right.
example, all of Washington, a
Okay.
good chunk of Washington would have to play it and recognize it as such, perhaps in a league. Um, or it has to be, yeah, in a league
Certainly.
where like
Okay.
a bunch of people come together to play it.
I would say it's a.
Otherwise, it's if for example you and I had a driveway and we went outside and played basketball, that's not a sport, that's a game.
Okay. You busted me on a technicality.
I am
Technicality. Because I mean, it is just horse. I mean, and look,
essentially
I'm
it's over
I,
glorified.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie to you. And the sport
I mean,
makes no sense.
I love this movie, and I'm mostly just busting your
The,
balls
the
because it's funny.
the
So,
sport does make no sense. The rules of which don't make any sense. What qualifies as a double or a single or a triple or a home run
or home run,
doesn't
or
make any sense. Yeah, this movie is a miracle. The South Park guys hate it. I don't understand
I
why.
don't get why. To me, it's one of their better
It's
ones.
so funny. It's such a funny place in their history because they made it. South Park was a year in, and they thought it was going to get canceled, and they did this movie as a favor.
That's funny.
And it's the
For
only
who?
to the director. They were friends with the
Oh,
director. I think it was the director, but they did it. I can't. That's just one of the anecdotes about this is that they did it as a favor, and they thought that South Park was going to get canceled, and that is wild. And they otherwise hate it. They think that the humor is sophomoric, which it is, but that's
I
what
mean,
makes it
it
funny.
is, but that's what makes it great.
The one who always gets me is the guy who plays Squeak because I always
Wait,
it's Dean Baker, I think is what his name is, but he's been with them since college. Like he was in Cannibal the musical with them, and then he was in Orgasmo, and then he was in this, and this is the
isn't
movie
he
most
also?
people.
Isn't he a voice on South Park
Yeah,
too?
he's done the occasional voice on South Park, but no one really major. But he didn't really. He's been in a few stuff here and there, but nothing like that. Anyone would, I would imagine, know him by name. But yeah, there's so many solid. Uh, like the when he did, they call him fat. Like, no, no,
There,
that's not cool.
guys,
I'm
I'm
feeling
not
fat.
fat. I'm not
Feeling
fat.
fat.
Ah.
All of the psychouts are very funny. I love the bit
Uh,
where
I like when Matt Stone, his character, he's driving in the car, and it's like even when your best friend left
oh,
you.
that's Trey Parker. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
later
yeah,
on
yeah,
when
yeah.
he go the funniest cameo in that movie is if you watch Unsolved Mysteries is Robert Stack doing Unsolved Mysteries. He's so funny. There's a moment where you could tell that he cracked and he laughed and they kept it in the movie. That's legit funny. Yeah, the bit in the car also hilarious where he sings the song.
Look out
Um,
ahead. There's a light truck changing lanes.
you
You've
got
got
some
some
yellow crumbs on your upper
on the
lip.
upper lip.
My favorite
No,
bit. I love the bit where um, he gives up the ownership of the team. He shares it with the rest of the team, and then Matt Stone immediately sells the team out. And it's like, wait a minute, isn't it? You say you sold to all of them. It just kind of seems like you just unilaterally. I mean, to be fair, you were unilaterally making decisions, but you just also made unilateral decisions, and no one really calls him on it. It's very weird. Also, the notion of like sports being bought and paid for, and like teams is like selling out stadiums to the highest bidder and moving from place to place. At one point, there's a young Kevin Michael Richardson shows up at the beginning as one of the players getting traded. That's still weirdly relevant today. Like a lot of the humor in this is still weirdly relevant. It's so funny. But corporate interest in sport is just so hilarious. Um, yeah, it's very sophomoric and a
so
lot of kind of.
does it check at all or any of the
Oh,
boxes?
absolutely, absolutely. There's a big game at the end that they have to win in order to save the team from the thing. But also, this is kind of a parody of sports movies, so like I think that's intentional. I think it's being cliche on purpose. Um, yeah, it's funny that this is like one of the few live action things they did. Like they've never been on camera really since, and they hate it, and I don't understand why because it's a really funny movie, and I had a good time. I had a great time watching it. I was like, oh, this is so much fun. This is why I love sports movies. Like really cliched sports movies that are cliched. I love it. Super funny. That's it. That's basketball. You should watch basketball. It's really good.
So what you're saying is basketball is one you think people should watch?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
Nudge,
Nudge,
nudge.
nudge.
Say no more, say no more. So my next rapid fire checks a lot of those boxes that you talked about, but it's also funny because it's the Mighty Ducks, but it's also funny
Oh
because
yeah. Yeah.
it's one where so there's an animated show that was made for the Disney Saturday morning Disney
No
cartoons or
relation.
whatever. No, it is. It
Really?
is supposed to be. It shows up. So when you look up the Mighty Ducks, it brings you to the Wikipedia pages, which has small blurbs about the first movie, the second movie, and one of the ones that it talks about is the
Wait, really?
animated one.
Huh.
So Mighty Ducks, the animated series, aired on American Broadcasting Company. Yada 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 yada. It was series takes place in the futuristic alternate anthropomorphic universe and follows the adventures of human duck superheroes. But it shows up on this page, so it is intentionally supposed to be attributed to it.
That's
It's weird.
that is
Even though
weird.
it doesn't really,
That is
as far as I can
very weird.
tell, doesn't I'm not actually going to go and click and read about that because it's not relevant. But as far as I know, yeah, it doesn't seem to have any correlation other than the name. And so all that wind up to say when I watched this movie, because I've never seen this movie before. Um, so when I watched this movie, I was fascinated when it didn't have anything to do with the famous Anaheim team, the
Nope.
famous hockey. And no, it's this like podunk, this little group
Emilio
of
Estevez.
this little group of kids who are playing or whatever who don't even have a name, a team name, and they get called the Ducks because the coach, the dick coach, um, the dick coach who needs to learn his lesson and learn how to be a team
Oh,
player.
that was one of the
And
other was that was one of the other criteria is the coach has to be a jerk who needs to learn a lesson by bonding with the kids.
yep, he checks
Yep,
that
yep,
box.
yep, yep.
And he has to help teach the kids how to be good team members and they learn the lesson of teamwork and come together to win the big game at
There's a
the
bad
end.
kid who needs to learn the lesson of being a good teammate.
Well, I mean, it's more just they're a team full of people who argue a lot and he brings them all together.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Um,
Yep.
but so yeah, I I liked it.
I
And
mean, yeah, it's a classic for a reason. They brought it back. They made a
clearly
show.
it's oh I was gonna say even ignoring that show, there's two other movies, so
Yep. Yep.
clearly it did well enough
Oh,
that
yeah.
that
Quite a
but yeah,
popular.
there was the animated show, and then apparently there was uh a live action television series based on the films in early stages of development, which
Uh,
never got fully
oh,
made.
I know that
Oh
they.
no, sorry. It was. It came to Disney
I was
Plus.
gonna say there was a Disney Plus show. I remember there was a
Yeah,
Disney
yeah,
Plus
yeah.
show.
Mighty Ducks Game Changers.
And then I think they made multiple seasons, and Emilio Estevez is only in one of them. I think. I could be wrong.
It just says on here that Emilio Estevez reprised his role in the series.
Yeah, he's not in the whole thing though.
Yeah, that's all it says here. But yeah, I mean, I like this one. It was fun. It's simple. It's basic. It checks all the boxes.
Checking all
Uh,
them
and
boxes.
and it has NHL cameos. So in the first one, it was Mike Modano and Basil McRae.
No, don't recognize either of those names.
Um, and what's really funny is is this Wikipedia has the fictional team roster,
That's funny.
and it tells you their number, their position, and like who. in each of the movies. So, for example, uh, Terry Hall from Minneapolis was in the first one, and he was a forward.
All right.
So I think that's funny. That's all I have to say about this one.
All right. So my goal this week was to pick weird sports that nobody watches. And like I'm going to say some stuff about this next sport and this next movie, but like also I won't deny I have seen exciting matches involved. Anyway, this is a movie called Men with Brooms. And it is a very Canadian movie that I would be shocked if anybody heard about. That is about curling.
Ooh.
Now, look, Jordan, I don't think curling is very exciting looking. Really. Like, I won't lie and say that I haven't seen the occasional, like, when we had the 2010 Olympic Games here, there was the occasional game once you understood curling. But, like, and it's not to say that I don't think curling requires skill. There is definitely, like, technique involved in doing it. Like,
I mean, definitely there
I
is.
just I don't know how to describe it. Like with like a team sport like football or soccer or hockey or basketball, like it works cinematically. So when you get to the big climax where they're doing the big tournament, you can follow it cinematically. Where curling, if you've ever watched a curling match, it's just a guy like sliding down an ice rink. And Jordan, you asked if they did the thing, which is to say, did they scream harder? They did.
Harder,
Hard,
harder.
hard, hard. See, all the Americans in our audience who have no idea what curling is are like, what the fuck are they talking about?
I mean, to me,
How do you explain curling?
curl. I mean, how do you genuinely? It's
Yeah,
dart. It's darts, but it's like if you
shuffleboard
took it's shuffleboard, darts, and lawn bowling,
and lawn bowling, but with slightly more nuance than that.
but with heavy
With
rocks
heavy
as
rocks,
you slide along
and
ice.
you can like brush them so you can
And
like affect the
and no,
curve.
I wouldn't say that there's no more nuance. To me, it is truly just lawn
No, I
bowling
mean
on.
there's more nuance in the actual like how you actually because like with lawn bowling it's
Oh, I mean,
bowling
yeah,
there's no control
the
with curling you can curl the stones using brooms so like they
yeah, it,
sweep.
it has to do with the friction on the ice. So basically, they sweep away the rough parts of the ice, which makes the ice smoother so that the rock can go further, can curve, can go shorter, can basically do whatever they
Yeah,
need it.
it's like when you're watching it, like it's a fun game to play, but watching it is not. And if you're familiar with it or like engaged with it, it has the capacity to be interesting. But just, at least in my
I don't
opinion,
know. I think it's as engaging as like to watch as, for example, golf, and a lot of
I
people
don't
like
think
watching
golf. I don't
golf.
think watching golf is. That's fair. I don't think watching golf is interesting, but I just don't think it's cinematically
I don't
very.
either.
I just don't think it's cinematically very interesting to watch.
It's one of those things where I get what you're saying, but in terms of all the sports that you could make a movie about, I don't think curling is the least
No, I suppose not.
thing.
But the big okay, so the plot of this very basically this became
Because like
me
I
complaining
remember
about
growing
curling.
up, I remember growing up, there was someone in my life who used to watch it a lot, and yeah, it was kind of
Well, that's why I
interesting
said I don't want to
watching
sit here and
like
say that curling is boring because no, there's been the occasional curling match that during the Olympics that was engaging and fun to watch.
yeah.
Like I won't say
So
that it's
like I
not fun to watch,
yeah
but it's just
yeah
not a very
like
cinematic sport in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe it's not, and also, I've
yeah
never met
I
a
don't
ton of
know.
people who were overly invested in a curling match
I
before.
mean that's fair.
So
That's a
like
fair
there's a
statement.
moment in this movie where they get to the big game, and it's like a sold out stadium basically or ice rink of people, and you're like, yeah, I don't think so, but hey, what do I know? But
I
yeah,
mean, it it was popular enough that it was on television, so I could believe that it would sell a
yeah, oh,
stadium of the right people.
TSN two at best. Anyway, and it's funny. This movie's so Canadian. At one point, I pulled this up so I would get the band name right. I want to say it's Our Lady Peace. It's the Tragically Hip. One of the teams is just the Tragically Hip
I don't know who that is.
Canadian band. famous
No,
Canadian band.
that explains why I don't know who they are.
You do. You've heard their music. You just don't. I just can't think of anything off by. You know what they sound. It's one of those bands where you know it. You just don't know them by name.
That's fair.
You heard them on the radio at least once when you were a kid.
That describes a lot of things that I know. You
But
know it, just not by name.
the plot of this is basically there's a curling coach who dies while trying to retrieve his team's curling stones, and so the team comes back together so that they can win the big curling match. And all of the team has their various deficiencies. One of the teammates is one of the guys from Deadpool. Leslie Nielsen is there as the guy's dad who just grows mushrooms. There's this running joke where he's constantly high on mushrooms.
I've got it, Justin. I finally thought of a less cinematically pleasing sport to have as a movie. Diving.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That is fair. Um, yeah,
I've watched.
it's a weirdly Canadian movie in the sense that like we have this weird relationship with ratings where it has the vibe and attitude of a basic PG to PG-13 feel good sports movie, but there's way too much nudity and swearing and doing drugs. So like it wants to be R-rated, and it's got kind of an R-rated kind of sense of humor, but none of the R-rated humor works because it's trying to be schmaltzy. So the tone is weird. I don't know if that makes any sense.
I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. Who can really say?
But yeah,
But does this movie? Let's go down the checklist, Justin. Does it have a dick adult who has to learn how to
yep,
be a good
absolutely,
coach?
absolutely,
Does
yeah.
it have a kid who's being a little asshole that needs to learn how to be a proper member of the team?
No, because this is a team of adults.
Okay, what other was there? Is there a big competition
Absolutely
that
big
they
competition.
have
Absolutely big
they have to
competition.
come together and work as a team and overcome all odds?
Yep. This one has the added bonus of the guy cheated in a previous competition and has to regain his honor. And
Oh yeah.
there's a moment in the all there's an all is lost moment where he cheats and then the team becomes disillusioned. They have to come back together for the big competition at the end.
I thought of the ultimate check mark
God, the movies are all the
all of
same.
these all of these movies have to answer. They win, right?
No, they wait. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they win. Yeah, they do win. Yeah.
Okay, because yeah, 9 out of 10 of these movies they always
They
win.
usually win.
There's the 1 out of 10 where they don't win,
Yeah,
but the
I would
odds
say
are
8 out of 10. 8 out of 10.
I no, I would say 9 out of 10 times they win.
But I
Every
mean,
every one of mine they won.
oh no, see,
So
so at least two of mine they didn't win. I think.
every single one of mine
Hold
they
on.
won.
I mean, it depends on what you define as winning. No,
Winning
I
the
say,
day.
no, legit. I'd say it might be three. No, three of mine they didn't win. So,
Do you have any final
yeah.
thoughts about this movie that you told me the name of, which I already have forgotten?
Men with brooms. It's all right.
Men with brooms. That
It
was it.
was not as good as I thought it was gonna be. I was expecting more from it, but it was all right. Men with brooms.
Okay.
Canadian
Okay.
joint.
Okay. So, if I had a quarter
If I had $1 million.
for if I had a quarter for every time this week I watched a movie that had an unlikely animal competing in a sport that they had very little business playing in, that was filmed in Vancouver, British Columbia, I'd have 2 quarters, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. And the first one that we're going to talk about is, so last time we did sports ball, I did the first Airbud where we watched the triumphant tales of a golden retriever dog who joins a
Who
basketball
could
team that
play
he has no
basketball kind of okay.
who joins a basketball team that he has no business playing on because he's a dog and they're humans.
He could do
Um,
one trick, which is bounce the ball on his nose.
and
Kind of
so and
okay.
so the people that made that movie saw that and were like, you know what? We should have him play another sport. What's a sport that's incredibly likely that a dog could be capable of playing? What? Soccer? No, we'll save that one for like the next or the one after that. We're gonna do football. Football is the
I'm
American
I'm just
pastime.
saying, just saying, in the line of sports that the dog could do, football seems like the second to last one where it stops being believable. Like you do soccer,
It's
then you do
yeah, it's
volleyball, and then you do baseball,
baseball.
and then you
No,
do
no,
football.
then you do football, then you do baseball.
No, because the last one in this that they didn't do is golf. They never did golf.
Okay, that doesn't change my order.
I'm just saying golf is the last one you do, and that's the least believable one. They never got to golf.
I mean, that's fair. But I'm saying baseball is less believable than football.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. See, to me, you're right. It goes football, baseball, then golf.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the trajectory.
I would agree.
Golf is the last one you do, where you're like, wow, we're on the fifth sequel, and this is no longer making any sense.
This is sad. But this
He
one,
doesn't even play
so
football well. That's the thing. Is it doesn't look like just in terms of filmmaking, it doesn't look believable. Like the one scene I watched, and if you're watching this, is the dog can barely hold on to the football because his mouth is not
so
designed so it looks like he's being made to hold the football, so it
so
doesn't look believable.
So okay, I'm gonna go over this. I'm gonna spend more time talking about a rapid fire than I probably should, because as I watched both this and the other one I watched was the MVP, the one about the monkey, and we'll get to that.
But what about
But
the monkey?
I really want to dive into this one because as I watched this one, I was like, I feel like this is supposed to be like a fun like, oh, the dog is really good at sports, or like that's awesome. But all I could think, and maybe this is the cynical adult in me, but all I could think is, man, I would be ashamed as the human children on this team that we are so bad at this sport
That we're listening
that
to a fucking dog.
a canine has to come in and save the day. We can't like there's literally a point where like because in this movie
I mean, just imagine how bad the other
there's
team
the
that's
two
losing feels. We lost to a
there's
dog.
the two Boris and no, but if this was in reality, I okay, and that gets to another thing. We're gonna get there. This movie has like a Boris and Beavis and Boris like stupid characters.
Beavis and
We're trying
Butthead.
to no, no, because it's a guy and a girl.
Oh, okay.
Um, um, where they're trying to like get animals so that they can open a circus and so they like
Oh,
kidnap
right,
dog nap Buddy
right.
at one point or whatever. And so the humans are having to play football against the humans without the dog being there. And they're doing really badly and they're losing. Um,
This is embarrassing. You should be
and
embarrassed.
yes, yes, they should be. So then the dog comes in and starts winning the day. And and so my head canon, because this is the only way it makes sense to me. My head canon is that the dog comes in and the opposite team, they now can't play at full tilt like they have been. They have to hold back.
Right? So it's not to hurt the dog.
So they don't hurt the dog because they have souls and do not want to hurt an animal because
Like
otherwise
regular
because
people.
other like regular people because otherwise this movie bothers me because in this movie they tackle the dog like not like even just one moment. Like over the course of the game, they multiple times they tackle the dog. And yes, I know what the audience is gonna say. They're gonna say, well, the dog had like special football armor on, which protects him and makes him safe. I don't care. You still have the full weight of a human boy falling on a dog. Like even if the weight doesn't hurt the dog, like when you're tackling the dog, there's so many ways that the dog could get hurt. And to the point where like when we're in that final battle or whatever, and this is where my headcanon comes in again. Um, there's the moment where the 350-pound kid finally snaps
Sorry,
and is
did you
like, you
say
know what?
350-pound kid?
I think it's something like that.
That is an enormous kid.
Like really big kid is the point, is what it's supposed to be.
I would say
I might be
200 pounds. That makes more sense.
I might be a little bit off with my weight, but the point is that it's a really big one. Um, Also, I'll circle back to a different a sidebar, which I think is kind of
Sidebar.
funny,
Can I talk to you over
but
here for a second?
um, no, only my friends can talk to me. Um, but I like to think that the moment where the kid tackles Buddy and Buddy gets hurt and can't be in the game for the rest of the game, I like to believe in my headcanon that that kid was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm tired of losing to a dog, and finally gave it like an actually tried, unlike the rest of his team,
Yeah.
because the rest of his team didn't feel good playing against a dog.
I don't feel good throwing my entire weight on top of that dog.
But they do. There's a point in the movie where like one of the team's dog piles him, and like the entire team jumps on him, and I'm like, I don't care if Buddy is wet. Buddy's wearing like Justin, look at me. He's wearing like the shoulder pads, which like go above the chest. He's not wearing anything on his lower half. They dog piled him on top of him, an entire team. His legs are
Oh, yeah,
crushed.
no, that dog is dead.
That dog, if not dead,
Dog is dead.
definitely hurt.
That you crushed it. You crushed its windpipe. It's dead. That dog is dead.
Like, oh, the movie bothered me for that result. As an aside, one of the animals that's at the circus people that they've stolen or kidnapped or whatever,
Is it a monkey?
uh, is a monkey.
It's a monkey.
It's a chimpanzee.
It's a monkey.
And so I'm like, I wonder if because the director slash writer of that the first monkey one, doesn't come on until the World Championship, which I think is the baseball one. So I'm like, did he watch this movie and that's where he got the inspiration for Jack?
I mean, it would not surprise me.
Because yeah, that's coming.
He's like,
That's
what if
that's
Airbud, but monkey?
we'll get there.
What if
But yeah.
Airbud,
Oh,
but monkey?
the other thing about this movie that drives me crazy. Um,
But
and I can't figure out what came first, the chicken or the egg. But so the movie is called Air Bud Golden Receiver. And there's a point in the movie when Buddy breaks onto the field and like catches the ball and steals it or whatever, where the coach is like, "That's no golden retriever.
look at he said the
That's
thing.
a golden receiver right there." And I'm like, "What came first? Did they write the line specifically to be a callback to the name of the movie, or did they like not have a name of the movie up to that point, wrote that line, and then they made the movie that because of the line? What
Oh no,
came
yeah, they
first?
sat. Wait, how
Or
many
the
people
egg?
wrote this movie? Does it say?
Uh,
Is it more than one? If it's more than
it says
one.
screenplay is by two people.
Oh, that's never a good idea. Then yeah, that tells you that yeah, they sat around in a room and went, "What other sports can the dog play?" And football was definitely the first one.
Ugh, so bad.
Yeah, the title
But yeah,
definitely came first. So it went golden, golden, retriever, receiver. That's brilliant, brilliant. And then they worked backwards.
we'll go with football. We'll go with
Yeah,
football.
they worked their way backwards from golden receiver. There's no way they didn't.
Oh, so bad though. So bad. This movie was
So
bad, Justin.
bad. Not
But
very
it
good.
checks boxes. You know, it's got the young kid who's dealing with problems at home, who needs to learn to get over his problems, and so he ditches basketball and takes up the good old sport of football, and
Football!
there's the big game at the end that they win,
Of
and
course.
nobody questions that a dog should be allowed to play football because they've already broken the precedent of a dog not being allowed to play basketball.
They're all
So
desensitized to it.
there's historical precedent for it, and he's a famous dog.
It's fair
It's
stock.
it's 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 bad, Justin.
They're like
It's it's
that dog played football, so now it
it's
should be
bad.
okay.
No, he played basketball, so now that definitely means that it's okay playing
I
football.
want to now just play football, Jordan. We can play pretty much anything now.
Yeah, next time we do a sports ball, I'm going to be relegated to watching the one about him playing. I don't remember which one was next. Soccer,
I think
I
soccer's
think,
next. No, I think volleyball.
or
Volleyball? The volleyball's the last one.
uh,
No, I think it's soccer next. I'm pretty sure it's soccer next.
Either way, it's going to be bad.
Gonna be bad, Jordan. These are the good ones. It only gets worse from here.
So that's that. What's your next rapid fire, Justin?
My next one is in my continued series of weird sports, Jordan. It's a movie called Kingpin. Jordan, based on its title, what do
It's
you
about
think?
it's about the Spider-Man villain, right? You know, he's bald and he's a crime boss. It's
He's that. Is he bald? No, he might not be bald. Jordan, based upon the title Kingpin.
definitely not about bowling, right? It's about the crime boss, the kingpin.
What? What gave away the fact that it was bowling?
Uh, Pin?
Pin, Jordan. Pin. So this stars, and I've convinced myself of this, Jordan, that Woody Harrelson does not age. Because this stars Woody Harrelson as a up and coming bowling champion in the 1970s. And he gets tricked by Bill Murray, who is a real piece of shit. He's just an absolute asshole. And he tricks.
You're you're to be clear, you're talking about the character and not
Yes.
the actor,
I
right?
mean, yes, definitely. And Bill Murray tricks Woody Harrelson into scamming some guys by throwing some bowling matches, and the guys catch them, and they shove Woody Harrelson's hand in a bowling return machine, and they crush his hand,
Mhm.
destroying his bowling career. And it's a weird scene. It is an unbelievably weird scene because he's screaming in utter terror, and he's like, God, please, guys, don't do this. And it's legit upsetting, but it's played for laughs. But they play the sound effect of what sounds like his hand getting crushed, and then it does a 15 years later thing, and it's played for laughs, but it's not funny. It's really weird. And then it cuts to several years later, and I think it's like 15 years later, and Woody Harrelson has become a scam artist and what have you, and he runs into Randy Randy Quaid, who's an Amish guy who loves to bowl, and he's there bowling, and he's really good at bowling, and Woody Harrelson convinces him to uh, let him coach him in being a better bowler, so that they can win the big tournament and win a bunch of money. And as they are training, whatever, run into a woman who is a kind of con artist, and she um, is scamming some rich guy, and they wind up together, and they wind up at this tournament where they run into Bill Murray, who is now a successful bowler, and him and Woody Harrelson have like a final showdown where he antagonizes the Amish kid. And the big thing with this movie that I found weird was they keep calling Randy Quaid the kid, but he's like, I don't know how to describe him if you don't know who Randy Quaid is, but he's oh,
Not a
oh
kid?
he's the same. Within the context of this movie, he looks like he's the same age as Woody Harrelson. I don't know if he is, but he looks like he's the same age as Woody Harrelson. But he plays him like he's a kid. It's really weird, and the movie would have been much better if he was a kid, because the big joke is he's Amish and he's innocent, but like it's weird because he's like has to be in his 40s at the absolute earliest, maybe generously late 30s if I'm being absolutely generous. Um, and then the final climax of the movie is obviously there's the big bowling tournament, and it's framed weirdly, like I guess because for reasons we'll get into a moment, but like normally how the big frame for a big sports movie goes is the bad guy goes, and then he does exceedingly well, and then the good guy goes, and there's the tension of, is the good guy gonna succeed or not, and they do the thing. So in this case, it's bowling. He throws the bowling ball down the aisle, and there's the big slow motion moment where you wonder if he's gonna get it or not. Right? That's typically how these scenes go.
Yeah, I mean, all I'm thinking about is how you said curling was boring, but then you watched a bowling movie, which I argue is equally as boring, if not more
I,
boring,
I
cinematically as curling
I would
is.
say it's equally as boring. And yeah, they framed this a bit better. The thing about a sport like that is you need to see the whole. In order for it to be interesting, you need to see all the things that make watching a sport like that on television interesting. Whereas movies tend to focus just on the character's face. So this does a really good job of showing them actually bowling. And there's this weird running gag where Woody Harrelson has a hook for a hand and he's got his hand in a rubber glove, so the rubber glove keeps getting caught. So like, he goes to bowl his first frame, and the because Randy Quaid breaks his hand while trying to fight Bill Murray, who insults them for some reason. So he breaks his hand. So now he can't participate in the big bowling tournament, and so Woody Harrelson participates for him, and he has to learn how to bowl with his rubber hand instead of just learning to bowl with his not broken hand. But whatever. And he goes to throw his first frame, and the rubber hand goes flying off. But it's not played. It's sort of played for laughs, but not. It's hard to describe. It's got the vibe of like a typical sports movie, but it's also trying to be like a over the top comedy, like Dumb and Dumber style, because it's the same guys who did it's the Farley brothers, so it's the same guys who did Dumb and Dumber, so it's that kind
Okay.
of tone, but it's also trying to be serious, so the tone is really weird. If that makes any sense.
That does. That you've articulated correctly. I
Yeah,
think I
yeah.
understand what you're saying.
So, the final climax of the showdown is the big moment where you're like, oh, who's gonna win is the bad guy. So like, well, that's weird. Like, they're not gonna show the bad guy lose because this is the scene where the person wins. That's the way it's being framed. And so I'm like, oh, obviously the bad guy's gonna win. And then sure enough, the bad guy wins. And there's this really funny bit where it's a close up on Woody Harrelson as he's distraught that he's lost. As you can hear Bill Murray being interviewed by some sort of reporter, but you could tell they just told Bill Murray to just improv stuff. So he just keeps saying stuff, and it's the kind of like just saying stuff in the background that you're not really supposed to be listening to. But I do because I and it's just, yeah, some of the jokes are really funny. This so that he loses. He loses the big bowling match. He does not win. And he's upset because he thinks that the girl who they've teamed up with has basically robbed them and stolen their money. And it turns out that she had to go with the because she's being pursued by the guy who she was scamming, who she goes with because he threatens Woody Harrelson and Randy Quaid. And it turns out that she took the money that she took with her and stole it from this guy and bet against Woody Harrelson. So they wind up rich in the end. Happy ending for everybody, and it's all right. I was just like, you know what? It's just fun to watch a sports movie that isn't like basketball or football or because those are the obvious ones. We're gonna get back or boxing, which of course we're gonna hit all of those coming up next. That's Kingpin.
Okay, so as previously discussed, uh, we also watched MVP, Most Valuable Primate.
It's a
Came
monkey.
out in ca- Primate came out in 2000.
He's a monkey.
He's a primate. He's an ape, and um, so Jack is a chimpanzee, 3 years old apparently. Subject of an experiment involving sign
That makes him
language
play hockey really good.
in San Diego. Well, he's supposed to be like a genius, and he likes hockey. Um, and so the janitor or something. So basically, the one scientist who Jack has been working with on his sign language stuff has a heart attack, but he was like gonna sell him back to the nature preserve where Jack's parents live, and he was gonna go back there, but then before it all goes through, the scientist has a heart attack, and so the janitor, I think is who it's supposed to be, ends up putting Jack on um a train which is supposed to take he's supposed to get off at like a specific stop and then he'll end up in the California Nature Preserve with his family, and he was leaving from San Diego.
San
But
Diego.
and so I don't. This doesn't make sense, but stick with me on this.
Okay.
Um, the train that Jack gets on, which again is in San Diego area
Right.
somewhere, um, the end of the line leaves Jack in Nelson, British Columbia.
Okay.
I don't know of any, and I'm not talking like a sky train or a metro,
No, no, a
but
train,
I
train.
don't know of any trains that go from Nelson, BC all the way to San Diego.
Not directly.
It was directly.
Yeah, no, no. I can imagine like maybe trading off somewhere, but no, definitely not
Like
directly.
Jack was very much like stowing away in a bag on
No,
a
that would
shelf.
involve the train track crossing into the states and then back into Canada again. That would make no sense.
It just doesn't, right? Like I'm not crazy.
No,
Um,
no, that's not how
but
train tracks work.
but somehow
Generally,
somehow Jack ends up in Nelson, British Columbia, where
that's weirdly specific.
I mean, almost like the director was
Was from
Canadian.
Nelson, British Columbia.
I can't speak to that, but he was definitely Canadian. Um, anyways, he ends up in Nelson, and then there's the family who has hold on, let's see if they actually have the character names here. Uh, I think there's Darren, no, Westovers. So you've got Stephen Westover, Tara Westover, and then there's the mom, and I think the dad. And so the brother they originally are from California, and the son was like on a hockey team, and he was like the all-star basically, and then they moved to Podunk Little, Nelson, British
I
Columbia,
mean,
Canada.
Nelson is pretty podunk. It's Nelson. Oh, I just
And
insulted every person in Nelson. But if you're from Nelson, you know it's podunk.
it's pretty small. And uh so Jack joins their hockey team there, and he's surprised by the violence and how apathetic the team is. But he strives to make them better.
The
And
monkey is taken aback by how
no, no,
apathetic.
no, no, the human.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like Jack the monkey was.
I'm setting up.
Gotcha,
Um,
gotcha.
and so we find out that the sister, the daughter, whatever, she's deaf, and she speaks with sign language, um, which is kind of cute. And uh, it's a nice touch. So then yeah, Jack, she ends up long and short of it, she ends up discovering Jack. Jack speaks sign language to her. She speaks sign language back, except there's times where she's doing sign language, and I feel like the movie is supposed to be showing me subtitles, but it's not, and I can't figure out if that's just kind of what I watched it on, or if I'm genuinely not supposed to know what she's saying. But it
I
does
hate that.
give me subtitles. It gives me subtitles when Jack does the subtitles or does the sign language. So
Oh,
that's where I'm like, I can't figure out if the intention is for me to not know what she's saying.
that is, yeah,
Um,
maybe.
Um, but yeah, then uh, Jack goes out and plays hockey with them in the morning one time, and then follows them later in the day to the hockey stadium. Then the hockey team, he dresses himself in the jersey, goes out on the ice and kicks ass, and then they're like, you know what, he's pretty good. And the coach goes to the Canadian Hockey Federation people and is like, hey, if nothing else, he'll bring in
It's
tickets,
like,
and
hey,
they're like, hey,
have you ever seen
like
that movie
literally,
Air Bud? It's like that, but with a
literally, they
monkey.
they they do the Canadian A thing way too
Eh.
much, um,
So you know it's in
and
Canada.
so they let him join the team, and everyone's just okay with it because they're in Canada, and everybody is just cool, and so they are
You ever seen a
winning, winning,
monkey play
winning.
hockey? Now you have.
They're winning, winning, winning. and they end up going to the Championship Cup, which is in Vancouver, Canada, at GM Place, and
Wait,
it's
is it
weird.
actually GM Place?
It's actually GM
Oh, that's
Place.
how you can tell this movie's old.
At least as far as I know, it's actually
It's
GM
not
Place.
Rogers Arena yet.
It sure as hell looks like GM. Well, they call it GM Place.
That's hilarious. Not
This came
Rogers
out.
Arena
This
yet.
came out in 2000, so it would have been around. It would have been the time when that would.
Wow. I guess it wasn't GM Place, or it was still GM Place.
And at least I think they do. Um, um, yeah, they go up against the Calgary Polar Bears. Um,
Exactly. It's funny.
and
The Calgary Polar Bears.
bad scientist dude from where Jack came from shows up to try and take Jack
And he's
back,
like,
and
monkeys shouldn't be playing hockey.
oh no, more that he and the other bad people that he's with have sold Jack to another university to use for some sort of
Not hockey.
bad scientist
Bad
stuff.
scientist stuff. You don't like that?
And
Monkeys shouldn't be playing hockey. Should be playing hockey for us.
yeah, that's what it is. Um, Darren, the maintenance worker, arranges for Jack to return to the nature preserve, but Jack falls asleep on the train and ends up in Nelson. Like, okay. But all that to say, of the animals that I watched this week that I thought were capable of playing the sport that they were playing, a monkey or an ape playing hockey is far more believable than a dog playing football.
An ape, you will believe an ape can play hockey. You will not believe a dog can play football.
You're saying that to try and get the AI to make that the title, aren't you?
What? No.
I know how you work. That's MVP, most valuable primate. It honestly was fun. It checks the boxes, as the kid who's coming from out of town who has to try and turn the team around. It's got the animal that's trying to play the sport.
Is there a big
It's
game
got
that they inevitably
Oh,
win?
you better believe there is. The Vancouver team or the Nelson team goes up against the Calgary team, Justin,
All right. All right.
and they win.
Speaking of Calgary, so in a previous episode, Jordan, we discussed the '87 Calgary Olympics with Eddie the Eagle, and we briefly made reference to the Jamaican bobsled team. Well, Jordan, many, many years ago, a gentleman who was fascinated with a story of the Jamaican bobsled team made a movie that is based on that story, but is not a direct telling of that story because there's significant changes. But it is a movie called Cool Runnings, starring John Candy, who this movie's problematic. Jordan, let's just start off there because it's really white saviory. It's the white guy has to be the one to come in and teach them how to do the bobsled properly because it's got that really condescending tone of like they never say it's about okay it's similar to it reminded me of Princess and the Frog where it's the guys being like with y'all background, where they don't actually say it
Uh,
but the hint is there.
Implied.
Yeah, where it's like you'll never be able to succeed at bobs. There's literally a character with that kind of accent that you'll never be able to succeed at bobsledding because you're from Jamaica. And you're
You
like,
don't have any snow there.
but it's not. Yeah, yeah. But it's like they never say it's because they're black, but like they imply it a lot. Yeah. So yeah, the plot of this is it's about a group of guys. The one guy he wants to go to the Olympics, but because he trips during the not audition tryouts. He trips during the tryouts, and so he can't. So he goes to John Candy, and John Candy's like, I don't do Olympic bobsledding anymore. And it's another one of those sports where like I've watched it and I just don't understand the mechanics enough to like I fully recognize that there is probably skill involved and there is nuance in how this is actually achieved and done, but it just kind of looks like you sit in a thing and run down a slide.
I mean, I think like you have to like lean into
I
the
think there's
corners and
there's like
stuff,
leaning into
but
it and like there's a person whose job it is to steer. So like yeah, and if they like, there's so many times where they crash and bail in this movie, where you're like,
Yeah, like when you're
I'm
going
sure
around the
there's more
corner,
to this
I
than
know there's like a risk of like when you're going around the corner, if you don't do it right, you can fall out and break your neck
like I'm
basically.
not gonna sit here and be like this looks easy because I don't understand it, but like it just like looks like yeah they're riding down a slide going
I'm not going to
wee.
sit here and say that there's not nuance and difficulty to it, but what I am going to say is when you're making a movie cinematically, it doesn't look interesting.
No, it just looks like yeah again like it doesn't look like I don't see him like making it go faster or slower. It just looks like they started at the top of the hill, pushed it as hard as they could, hopped in and went wee, and like I know that's probably like dismissive of what is obviously probably a difficult sport to do, and like they mentioned G forces and all sorts of stuff, and this is a moment where I'm like, this is my ignorance showing of not really knowing anything about the sport. My other thing about this movie in particular is now I was not alive in 1987, but I'm just pretty convinced that 1987 Calgary wasn't like an entirely white city with not a single person of color. Like I was paying attention about midway, I realized that the only people of color in that movie are the people on the Jamaican bobsled team. Otherwise, every other character, including background characters and background extras, are all white. Every single one of them. As far as this town's concerned, the only there are no people of color, and I'm not even talking just black people. I'm talking like no Asians, no Hispanic people, nada. According to Cool Runnings, 1987 Calgary was an entire white city. Much like the
I
snow,
mean,
it was covered in white.
I can't say for sure. I wasn't alive and I didn't exist then, but um, I mean, maybe no one else could afford to go.
No, the thing is, I'm not just talking people there for the Olympics. I'm talking like citizens and like every character who's not on that unless I'm wrong. Somebody tell me in the comments, like in the background of that, there's like at least one Asian person in that movie. But it is otherwise the only people of color are that bobsled team. And yes, Jordan, there is a big competition, and they don't win. They lose. It ends with them
Well,
being like they went home and they practiced and they came back real competitors the next year.
well, I mean, you can't win them all.
Also, yeah, John Candy is really good. He is really funny. He's really charismatic. And man, it is such a the world is worse off for him not being in it. There's a documentary Ryan Reynolds did recently about him, where like there's all these clips of like his whole being in movies was known for being fat, and there's all these clips of like interviews being like, hey, do you think if maybe you lost 10 to 15 pounds you'd be happier? And he just seems miserable about it. Like he was so subconscious about his weight. There's like at least two unnecessary cracks about his weight in this movie that bothered me genuinely, where I was like, that wasn't necessary. Not even in terms of just like it wasn't necessary for the character to say that. It was not necessary to for the scene. It doesn't make the scene funnier. The joke's not very funny. It doesn't really work. You could cut it out and it wouldn't change or impact that scene at all. And it just felt there to take a crack at John Candy, which just isn't right. This was the last movie he did, last full movie he did before he died. But yeah, Cool Runnings. That's also it's funny. I went into this being like, I don't think I've seen this, and then I came out the back of it being like, yeah, I've definitely seen this. I cannot remember the context in which I watched it, but I definitely remember the bit at the end where they carry the bobsled to the end of the race, and I remember
Yeah, I mean,
Cool Runnings.
I remember it being one that our friend wanted us to watch, and you, me, and I think both of our friends were here that day.
Honestly, don't
And
remember.
I remember watching it.
I mean, that's not
So,
putting aside all the fact that all the characters are horrid cliches. Every single one of them. There's one character. He's the Rastafarian guy, but he just says he's Rastafarian and has a Jamaican accent. It's just really, really surface level stuff.
mm,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
When did
That's
when did this come out again?
90s, 95, 96, something
Yeah,
like that.
that's yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah. Um, apparently, it like had a negative impact on the Jamaican bobsled team going forward because they eventually did introduce a proper bobsled team, and like for a lot of Jamaican people, it's one of those like it's culturally known enough that when people are like, "Oh, you're from Jamaica," they're like, "Cool runnings." Apparently, it's been detrimental in that regard. Yeah, yeah, it was all right. It was all
Oh
right.
boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Okay. So, my last, check it, last
Also,
rapid fire.
before we move on, I just want to say this is officially better than the original sports ball episode. It's now been longer.
Okay, good. Last rapid fire is Creed.
I
I,
love Creed. I love that
I
movie.
watched
It's
Creed.
not my favorite Rocky movie. I mean, I don't know that I would consider it a Rocky movie, but I
I
think it's
think you
the.
have I think you have to count it as a Rocky movie.
I mean, he's not the main guy.
Still a Rocky
He
movie.
does. He does have quite a presence. My thing with
He's in it enough that I would still
My
call
thing
it a
is, it
Rocky
just
movie.
it with Rocky, it does a lot of stuff story wise that they didn't Rocky Balboa without him fighting. That I'm like, eh. But there's a lot of cinematography in this movie that I love. I love when he enters the ring and it's like over the shoulder and it's like we're in the ring with him. So good. The fight
I
sequences in this movie are quite good. I
I
quite
was
like
gonna
them.
say I think the fight choreography is quite good in this movie.
Quite good.
Um and I appreciate the I don't know if you want to call it a callback, reference, what have you, but the fact that Adonis goes the distance but doesn't win the fight.
Well, he doesn't win in this
Wins
one. I thought you
he
said all your
wins
guys won.
Yeah, I didn't remember correctly.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that parallel to the original because oftentimes winning is not the point.
It also depends on what you constitute as winning. Um, he technically loses because it goes to split decision, but one would argue it's a
Sports thing.
steel situation. Well, it's a real steel situation where it's like he may have technically lost,
But you won the
but
spiritual battle.
he really won.
He
You
won, but
know.
yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I totally know what you mean.
Um, so, and then the movie ends with, yeah, with Adonis and a frail but improving Rocky climbing the 72 steps outside of the entrance of the Philadelphia Museum of Art.
I mean, that's the dream. That's the dream is to run. I've never had any desire to go to Philadelphia other than to run up those stairs.
I mean, I think that's the only reason most people want to go to Philadelphia.
And also, I mean, I'm gonna say this again. Wait, because spoiler alert, we're gonna be talking about Rocky later. But I'm pretty sure it's in this song in this movie. I'm gonna say it again later. Fly with me. I don't care who you are. The movie hypes you up. It's hype as fuck.
Da,
You
da,
can't tell me that you
da,
don't get
da,
hype when it hits that guitar solo
da,
in the center where it's like, bow,
da,
bow, bow,
da,
bow,
da,
bow, 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 bow. You gotta tell. You cannot
da,
tell me
da, da, da,
that
da,
does not get you hype as fuck.
da.
Like these movies are all the same. They all have that training montage in the center. They are all good. This movie is great. I can't tell. I
Um,
quite like Creed 2, but it's probably my favorite Creed movie. I did not watch. I did not care for Creed 3.
yeah, this is technically it's a spin-off of Rocky, but
Yeah, but it's basically Rocky 7.
it's still basically Rocky. Um, but I we're gonna have to find a reason for me to watch the second one and third
I
one
quite like the
because
second one.
I have seen this one before. Yeah, I think you and I watched it in theaters.
That we did.
But I've never watched the second and third one.
No, I watched that one here by myself.
And so yeah, I'll have to contrive a reason to do that. Maybe next time we do sports, I'll watch the second one.
The third one is interesting because he took a lot of inspiration from anime. So there's a shot where it's literally that shot of Goku and Vegeta punching each other in the face simultaneously. There's a
Oh
shot
yeah,
in Creed 3 that's basically that.
that's awesome. I think I remember you telling me, I don't remember if it's the second one or third one, but Drago's son or something comes back.
That's the second one. Both Drago
Second
and
one.
his son come back. Yeah, that one's also quite good. That one's cool because it's like the idea that What happens to the bad guy when he goes back home. He's the bad guy. He doesn't get hugs and pats on the back and told he's awesome. What happens to the bad
Um,
guy after he loses? Yeah, it's quite
I
good.
think this movie was so good that it was nominated for an Academy Award.
Dude, it was. I also really like Ryan Coogler. He's done other stuff I quite like. He did this. Like I say, there's a lot of cinematography in this that I really like. Really, really like.
It won quite a few awards and nominated
It
for a
did.
lot of awards.
It did. It did win a lot of awards. Jordan, is that it?
Yeah, that's Creed.
Is that
There, there was a lot of fighting.
There's some fighting. My next one, my final rapid fire. It's really funny because I'd seen this movie before and I couldn't remember if there was an actual competition in it or not. But this is about uh, a wrestler whose name is escaping me, played by Channing Tatum, Mark something, and he gets noticed by a rich man named John DuPont, who he's like a eccentric rich man who wants to fund a team of wrestlers to succeed in the Olympics called Team Foxcatcher, and it's got like I say, it's got Steve Carell in it. It's got Channing Tatum. It's got Mark Ruffalo. They're kind of the main guys, and it is quite a good movie. It's a little slow. Some of the scenes go on for like ever. Like there's an extensively long scene where they just do cocaine together. Like it's just Steve Carell and Channing Tatum for like I swear what felt like 5 minutes of them just doing cocaine. There's several like extended sequences of like Channing Tatum freaking out in locker rooms. Like that's my one criticism is like some of the sequences are just they're and to be fair, they're meant to be uncomfortable. Like they're meant to like build kind of a tension. There's this weird underlying tone of like it's hard. The guy who there's a thing when it comes to movies that are based off of a true story, where like so this movie kind of implies that stuff happened between Mark and John DuPont that Mark didn't feel comfortable telling. So like Mark was involved. That's the thing about making biopics about people who are alive or who are involved in the filmmaking process is they will be like, "Hey man, I don't want to put that on camera or on film." And so sometimes when you're watching a biopic that involves the making or involves the guy who it's based on, there's moments where I find where I'm like, "Yeah, clearly something else happened here that he didn't want you to go into." So like there's a point where basically Mark Ruffalo is Channing Tatum's brother, and they are both wrestlers in the Olympics, and they both won medals. And he initially convinces Channing Tatum to join him, but he can't convince Mark Ruffalo. But he really wants Mark Ruffalo, and so he comes in one day while they're training or whatever, and Channing Tatum has given him the day off. He's like, "I want your brother." And he like slaps him in the face. He's like, "Get me your brother. I don't care how much it costs." And so Mark Ruffalo eventually joins them at this ranch, basically, that they have, this compound. And Channing Tatum won't speak to him. And from that point on, he won't speak to John DuPont, Steve Carell. And it's kind of implied that, like, there was, like, something sexual going on between them. Like, it's implied in the tone is, like, early on he seems to be really obsessed with Mark in a way that's kind of like almost sexual. Like Mark is kind of a slower, not as smart guy, and there's a sequence early on where he gets him to go to this like event, and basically he gives him this speech where he's constantly throughout the movie trying to get these guys to say that he's their mentor, and neither of them really feel comfortable doing it. So he's kind of charming. His whole thing is like he's like we have to do this for America, because I should have mentioned this movie takes place during the 80s. So it's very Cold War. So he's very much like, we have to win for America. We have to do this for America, and we're representing America. And the Ruskies are trying to get us, kind of guy, kind of old school Republican kind of guy. Um, and
Sounds
so
pretty modern to me.
and
Sounds
so yeah,
exactly the
yeah.
kind of thing they'd still be saying.
Yeah, it's what's wild though is it's he's definitely the kind of guy who like it's definitely a commentary. This movie came out in 2015, 2016, I think, but it's like I feel like I got the dates wrong, but it's got that vibe of like saying like, oh, a billionaire can just buy whatever he wants. So this billionaire has come in and bought this wrestling competition in order to impress his mother, who is into horse racing and taking care of horses. So there's a bit later on where he like a really long, uncomfortable scene of him bringing in his mother and doing a coaching session in front of her where like he's trying to demonstrate a hold, and because his mother is old and is the 1960s or 1980s, his mother is obviously
Christian?
okay. I don't know if she's Christian, but this is a bias that a Christian would have. Wrestling, Jordan, looks very.
Oh, she's homophobic.
There you go. And so there's a bit where
Which is really just a synonym for religious.
right. Yeah. I don't know if she says specifically she is, but she's very much like she describes wrestling as a low sport and she hates seeing him low. And so there's a bit where he's trying to like demonstrate a wrestling move and he gives up his back and the mother like she's in a wheelchair like wheels herself out in disgust, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I see how his life has been informed. But he inevitably there's a bit it basically it ends with the big thing is he ends up murdering Mark Ruffalo.
Wow, that escalated
Right, so
quickly.
that's my thing is I wanted to do it that way because that's kind of what the movie's like. Is they're training, and I tried to read about this, but it just they're training and everything seems to be going okay, and then Mark, the Channing Tatum is like slowly distancing himself, and he won't talk or otherwise engage with Steve Carell, but the movie never says why, but it implies that something else happened between them that Mark in because he was a consultant, the real guy that this movie is based on, he consulted with this movie, so it comes across that there's something here that they didn't want to reveal because yeah, it just out of nowhere he starts to require more security, and then Mark Ruffalo shows up because he's living in the compound or whatever. He shows up and Steve Carell just shoots him. Bang, shoots him 3 times, and then leaves and they catch him. And then when I tried to read the real life story, it says that in the months leading up to this murder, that John DuPont became very erratic and very crazy. But the movie doesn't show that. Like, it doesn't show him display any erratic behavior. It's one, like, other than, like, the acquiring more security guards and but he's always kind of the demeanor of the character throughout the movie is he's kind of a weird eccentric guy like that, like an eccentric millionaire, like that's the vibe they're giving, but like in like scenes that are like mildly discomforting, but you never get there's nothing there doesn't seem to be a motive, and you're like, yeah, okay, real life there isn't always a motive, but this is always my thing with stuff like this is it's a movie. Like I want my movies to like at least sort of explain why this happened a little bit. I guess maybe no ambiguity in movies, but like it just seems to kind of come out of nowhere. Like
Yeah.
they seem to
So
be
I would
breaking
say
up.
in that instance, it's not so much that for me, it's not so much that I would require like a full-on explanation, but like some sort of justification.
Yeah, like more of him falling off the rails or going nuts or like
Yeah.
or
Like
something signs
signs that
that
would
yeah
lead to it.
because like in when I was reading about this, it said that in real life um that the guy had begun to become erratic and paranoid, and he thought that the guy who Mark Ruffalo is based on was conspiring some sort of plot against him, but the movie never shows that. And when you find out that, yeah, that the guy who it's based on consulted on it, it just comes across, like I say, like they cut elements out of the story to make someone involved in it look better.
Probably, yeah.
If that makes any sense.
It does.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's a really good movie. If you like uncomfortable thrillers, Steve Carell is phenomenal. It's so playing against type. It's creepy. It's unsettling. Channing Tatum, really good. All of my issues with this all have to do with editing and writing. Where I'm like, so many of these scenes go on for too long. They just go on for entirely too long. But yeah, I was it was good. It's all right.
So
They all,
so those check boxes.
yeah. I mean, it checks all of them. There's a big competition, there that he's preparing for. There's a brother. There's a yeah. It doesn't check all of them, but it checks some of them. It's not a team
Okay.
sport. The team sport movies tend to check more of the boxes than the
Yeah, I
individual.
I I, I noticed that as
the
well.
the fighting the fighting movie is like a Rocky is not really gonna, it's not the same kind of schmaltz
Same with
that,
Creed.
yeah, like those movies are a bit different because there is a big competition. Like, that's not to say that there isn't a big competition, but this is less about the sport and more about, or the competition, and more about the athlete. And that happened a few
Yeah,
times for me, where it's like fighting movies are usually about the athlete, not the sport
the build
itself.
up, the
Yeah,
build up more than the sport.
more than the sport. And yeah, there's a big sport at the end, and I find a better yeah. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. Yeah, I have stuff to say about the Smashing Machine.
So, okay. My first have seen. Have you ever watched the movie She's
Yes.
the Man? Okay.
No. Sorry, I was being an ass. Honestly, I don't know. I don't think I've seen it in its entirety.
But
That's one.
you know enough about it to know the general
I
vibe.
know that it's a Shakespeare play. It's based on
Okay, see that's what's interesting is I didn't.
it's based off of I want to say
It's inspired
the
by.
the Twelfth Night, I think.
That's it.
Yeah. The concept and the plot of her dressing up as a guy, that's based on the Twelfth Night.
Not even just so much that, which yes, but character names too.
Yeah.
So in the play, in this, she's Viola, and she dresses up basically.
It's Mulan.
Um, so at her school, the girls' team gets cut, and so her because not enough girls sign up, and so her and the girls on her team go to their school's coach and are like, "Well, we want to sign up for the boys' team then."
And he's all like,
And
sexism.
he's a sexist piece of shit where he's like, girls aren't as fast as boys. They can't run as hard or as far. It's just a fact.
Girls and
And
sport biology is a fact.
but they're weaker and not as good and not as impressive as men are. And I'm like, I don't think you're allowed to say that as a high school gym teacher, but okay. And so then her twin brother, who I don't think they look like twins, but okay. Her
Suspend that
twin brother
disbelief,
is
bitch.
her twin brother is like, I'm gonna go to Europe for like 2 weeks or whatever till the first week of school or
You
whatever,
go
and
pretend to be me.
more just you cover for me, um, and so she does by dressing up as him and going to learn how to play soccer. And so it's funny that you mentioned Channing Tatum,
Oh yeah,
because
he's
he's
in
in
this,
this
isn't he? Yeah,
movie.
yeah. He showed up. What's really funny is he popped up more than once. Like, I was like,
Um,
is that Channing Tatum?
yeah, he's in this one, and it's funny because I've sort of come to the impression with Channing Tatum, he's a better actor than most people give him
Oh,
credit for.
absolutely. Yeah. No, he absolutely is.
Um, and I really like him in this one. But yeah, no. So from what I was reading of the original play, it's a similar concept where Viola is pretending to be a boy, falls in love with Duke, um, who he's still named Duke in this one. And then that's as far as I read before I was like, eh. But so yeah, this checks the boxes, it's got the team sport, it's got the big competition that that they've got to win.
Yep.
Um,
Gotta win the big
it's
big
it's got
sport.
it's got the fresh member who's got to learn how to be, like better and become good enough and um yeah, it's fun. I like this one. It's also before Amanda Bynes stopped being Amanda
Yeah,
Bynes.
it's in that run of like she does a bunch of movies based on books, and this is one of them. It's like
Yeah,
this.
there's
She's
this
the
Easy
man.
A,
He's yeah, Easy A. She's the man. The one that's Sydney White. All around the same time.
and I feel like there's more, but so it had a budget. It had a budget of it has the range here between 20 to 25 million. Justin
25
box office,
milli.
Justin box office guess
50 milli.
57.2 milli.
Double it, and pass it on.
No, that's not doubled. You guessed 50, it was 57.
I mean, it's pretty much doubled.
That's not doubled at all. Um, 57 is not double to 50. Come on, Justin. Um,
Double it, and give it to another.
but yeah, it's fun. I like it.
I like
I'd
it a
watch it again.
lot. I like it
I-
a
I'd I'd
lot.
I'd watch it again. Uh, I definitely didn't. I wasn't aware that I wasn't aware that it was based on Shakespeare.
Yeah,
That's
that's the
something
one
that
thing I did know about it.
that's something that I just learned.
I'm just impressed I
Um,
remembered it was the 12th night.
Interesting. So this must have been one of Channing Tatum's first roles, because apparently Amanda Bynes and Channing Tatum were cast respectively in the lead roles, and Tatum had been chosen at Bynes' insistence,
Oh.
as she felt he would be received well by audiences. She told Paper in 2018 that she totally fought for Channing to get cast in the movie because he wasn't famous yet.
All
He
right.
just he just done a Mountain Dew commercial, and she was like, "This guy's a star. Every girl will love him."
She was right.
But the producers were like, "He's so much older than all of you," and she was like, "It doesn't matter. Trust me."
Just trust in me. Is that it?
Apparently, this was her first time playing a role of the opposite sex because she cross dresses in this one. But that's it. That's all that I really have to say. Decent
All
movie.
right. All right. All right. You know what? Since we already did Creed, might as well go back, Jordan. Back before Creed.
Back to the past. It's Samurai
To
Jack.
what, in my opinion, should be the final Rocky movie, and they should make no more Rocky movies after this. But they're talking about making another one. No, don't do it.
Even including Creed? You don't want any more Creed?
No, because the third one was bad. Anyway.
No. No, but I mean, this movie comes out that you're about to talk about, and you
Oh, oh,
said
oh, oh.
nothing else after
I mean, no,
this.
I don't consider those Rocky movies. I consider those Creed movies. To me, this is the final Rocky movie. This is the final movie where Rocky should fight.
Okay,
This
okay,
is
okay.
Rocky Balboa. Now, Rocky Balboa is very interesting because basically he made this movie. It's Sylvester Stallone. He writes and directs this. He made this because he wanted another crack at Rocky 5, basically. And this is a much better version of Rocky 5. This is basically just Rocky 5. The only difference is he's older. He's now close to his 60s. Adrian is dead. She died of cancer. What's his face? Louis, the shitty brother, is still around, but he's much nicer now. The son is there, and he is ashamed to be associated with Rocky because he's tired of living in Rocky's shadow. And Rocky does a big speech where he's like, "And that's how winning is done." And
Life is gonna keep knocking you down, and you have to get back up again, Adrian!
because this takes place in 2006, and I realized when I was watching this is such a 2006 idea that is stuck around, and that's you take two people who shouldn't fight each other and put them into a computer and simulate it. That was like the Deadless Warrior, Death Battle. Like that's all 2006, baby. That's all, or 2008 or whatever. Like that's very much of that era. Like that's when we came up with that idea. Was back then.
It's time for a death battle.
And so the plot of this is there's a championship fighter who is fighting losers, and he keeps beating guys who suck, and nobody respects him. Everyone thinks he's this guy who has never been in a real fight because everyone in the division is lame, and so they put him in a simulation with Rocky, and Rocky beats him, and so then he challenges Rocky to a fight, and it was really funny because I was like the movie treats it as this ridiculous thing, and when this movie came out, it absolutely was. But like, all I could think about is like how this did happen. Like we did this in real life. We had, I mean, it wasn't like the champion, but we had like Mike Tyson come out of retirement and 60 years old and do a fight just like this with Jake Paul. I'm like,
Yeah.
Jake Paul would absolutely challenge Rocky Balboa to a way too late fight and then nearly lose. Like, that's the thing was so funny is like if you put this in its context of like actual professional sports, like the heavyweight division is so pathetic that the champion nearly lost to a 60-year-old Rocky Balboa in a split decision. That's the one thing I like about this movie. He loses in a split decision, just like he did in the original fight. He does not win. And there's a alternate ending where he does win, and it's bad. It's way worse. It's like, oh, this is not. It doesn't work.
Because it's not believable. He's too
No,
old.
that's the thing. Is like all the reviews of this contemporarily called this unbelievable, and I'm like, it's not believable. It's not unbelievable that he could stay in there and like take a beating and like
I mean,
manage
it's
to like.
unbelievable that he would like even be considered to win.
Right, exactly. Like the split decision is like one judge gives it to him, otherwise the two judges give it to the other guy. So yeah, he lost, but he didn't get knocked out, and that was the
Yeah.
point. The point was for him to like work out something and prove that he couldn't do it. And this one, the fight sequences are like I think they're probably, other than maybe Creed, the most realistic. Like it looks like he's actually on an HBO fight card. Like the fights are easy to see. They're well shot. They're well directed. Like I will give Steve or Sylvester Stallone credit. No one can direct a Rocky movie like Sylvester Stallone can. The pacing is phenomenal. Like it's an hour and like 45 minutes, and it's super fast paced. Like we were at the fight. And I looked at the runtime. I was like, "Holy shit! There's only 20 minutes left. How did that happen? This feels like I just started this. Like it feels like an hour." And that's not a negative. Like the pacing is so good. Um, the performances all good across the board. All good across the board. The only disappointing bit is that they didn't bring back Sylvester Stallone's son to play Sylvester Stallone's son. They recast his son because I don't know if you remember in Rocky 5, Sylvester Stallone's son, I think it was his son, plays his son in that movie.
I did not know that.
I probably told you that when we talked about Rocky 5. I'm sure I did.
You probably did, but I
Um,
didn't remember it until
and
this moment.
to reiterate, "Gonna Fly Now" is the most hype song of all time. Like the ending credits of this movie is just "Gonna Fly Now" set to footage of people running up the stairs, and it's super hype. It's super hype. It's super awesome. I love these movies. I don't think there's a Rocky movie I disliked. The only one I would get close to is maybe Creed 3 because I did not care for Creed 3. But Rocky Balboa isn't in Creed 3, so it is even less a Rocky movie than the other two. Um, but
I
yeah,
understand.
this I understand why people are cynical about this one. I do think that it wasn't super well received. It didn't do super well. There's a reason why it took them so long to do another one. Um, but I think if this was alternate Rocky 5, like if this is an alternate universe and they don't make Rocky 5 and they make this instead, and he puts all of the energy he wasted on Rocky 5 into this, I think this would have been better received. Have you seen all the Rocky movies at this point? You haven't seen this one, right?
I don't think so. They all blend together at a certain point, but I don't think so.
I mean, I disagree with that sentiment because they all have a particular thing that sticks out about them that I can say in a sentence. So, like, you've got Rocky 1, which
Like
is
I don't remember. I'm aware of it, but I don't remember ever actually watching the one with Mr. T.
fair enough. I don't think you've seen the one with Mr. T. But I'm just saying, like, you can boil, when you're like, they're not memorable, I'm like, nah, because you just boiled down Rocky 3
I mean,
as the one with Mr. T. So, like,
I didn't say they weren't memorable. I just said they blend together at a certain point.
I mean, fair. You've
Um,
got the one. Hold on, let me do this. You've got Rocky 1. You've got the second one where he actually beats Apollo Creed. You've got the
yeah,
one with
that I think
Mr.
I've
T.
seen.
You've got
I
the
don't think I've
one.
seen that.
You've got the one where he defeats communism.
That I
Um,
watched.
you've got the one where he doesn't do a fight at the end. That is he's sad and pathetic. That's Rocky
I don't.
5.
I don't think
Um,
I've seen that
and then you've
one.
got Old Man Rocky, which is Rocky 6, which is
I
Rocky
don't think I.
Balboa.
I don't think I've seen
I don't
that
think you've
either.
seen Rocky 5, 6, or 3. I know I made you watch the
Yeah,
first two. I know I've made you watch the first two. I don't think we
that
got to the third.
and I know I
Although no, I
watched.
think you might have watched the
And
third one.
I know I watched Rocky Beats Communism for this show.
Yeah. You watched that for the Fourth of July America episode. Um, the most memorable thing about Rocky 3 for me is always going to be the invention of MMA, where it's boxing versus wrestling.
Uh-huh.
There's a scene where it's got Hulk Hogan in it, and he fights Rocky, and it's the first MMA
No,
fight.
I definitely don't remember
Oh,
that.
fair enough. I guess we're gonna have to contrive a reason for you to watch Rocky 3. Maybe when we do finally do that professional wrestling episode, I'll be like, yeah, it counts. Uh, that's it. That's Rocky Balboa. I love this movie. It's not my favorite Rocky movie. That's probably Rocky 1. I think Rocky 1's always gonna be my favorite. Although Rocky 2, the thing is like much like a lot of movies like this, I'm not really showing up for the story of it. I'm really showing up for the
I mean,
fight.
I just like the
I
fights.
like the fights. I'm not really into this for the story of it. So when the story is good, also he doesn't Rocky doesn't go full evil Rocky. You could tell that Rocky's really downtrodden in a movie because he'll start to smoke. Like so like so like in Rocky 1, you could tell he's bad and he's evil at the beginning because he smokes. So then Rocky 5, he starts to become downtrodden, and you could tell he's become downtrodden because he smokes. It's really funny. Rocky Balboa.
Any
Ba-da,
final thoughts?
ba-da-da, ba-da-da. No, that's it.
That's
That's
it?
it.
All
That's
right.
it.
So, next, my final have seen. I really like this movie. It's Here Comes the Boom.
Here
Here
comes
comes the
the
boom.
boom. Here
Here comes
comes
the
the
boom.
boom.
Here comes the boom.
The best
Um,
character in that movie. See, it's funny. It was really fortuitous that you watch this because the character Boss Rutan is going to become important later. And you having seen this makes this less difficult to explain. Boss Rutan is the best character in this movie. Boss Rutan is
isn't
he's
he the trainer?
he's the trainer. Yeah. Boss
The
Rutan.
trainer, the trainer who's studying to be the Romanian trainer who's studying to become American.
Does he say Romanian?
Pretty sure he says
Oh, okay.
Romanian.
I can't remember.
No,
Dutch.
Dutch. It
He's
was
Dutch.
Dutch.
Yeah, he's Dutch. He has all the best lines in this movie. Legit. He's the funniest character. He is. If you don't know who Boss Rutan is, Boss Rutan is a fighter. He was a Pride fighter. He's an MMA coach, fighter, commentator. He's legitimately hilarious.
So,
The stomp 'em victory dance. That's apparently based on an actual street fighting tape that he did.
oh, that's funny. So, what's funny about this movie is I'm pretty sure that Kevin James secretly deep down always wanted to be a UFC fighter, but knew he would die
Well, he
if
was
he ever
a
actually. Let me just hold on. Thought that he thought that he would die if he ever actually tried it. So he created this movie to live out that dream with the safety of knowing that it wasn't real because
What's so
he
funny?
because he produced,
He did produce it, yeah.
wrote, and acted,
Oh,
starred
I didn't
in
know
this
he wrote
movie.
it. That's funny. Well, okay, the number one thing is
He was one of two writers.
he's very passionate about this movie. Like he puts number one, he dropped a shit ton of weight. I think it's the thinnest I've ever seen him in a movie. Number two, the bit about him doing a bit of wrestling in college, I think is true. I believe that that is based on a real thing. I think he did actually do a bit of wrestling in college. Um, and number three, the thing that I found funny was I always thought that this came out after the Zookeeper. I think I mentioned this when I talked about the Zookeeper. But it's just funny that he did the Zookeeper before this, and that's where he met Joe Rogan. So like I like to picture he had a conversation where after doing the Zookeeper and becoming friends with Joe Rogan, he called up Joe Rogan and was like, "Hey man, I want to make a UFC movie. I need a couple of favors," which is the only reason why the climax of this movie takes place in an actual UFC match with actual people from the UFC.
That Joe Rogan gets him into.
That pretty much, yeah. That he called up Joe Rogan. Yeah, that Joe
No,
Rogan yeah,
in
in
the
the movie. Yeah,
movie,
that's the
in the
reason
movie,
why.
Joe.
I'm convinced that that happened in real life. Except for the difference was he's actually friends with Joe Rogan. Where he phoned up Joe Rogan, he's like, "I need a favor," and Rogan was like, "All right, but here's the conditions."
All I know is I like this
This
movie.
movie's so underrated. It is
I
so
think it's
underrated.
way better. I think more people need to see it than have.
The thing is,
Um,
I'm a firm believer, and I'm going to say this again when we talk about the Smashing Machine, but there's not enough MMA movies. Like there needs to
yeah.
be more MMA movies. Like there should be
Um,
as many MMA movies as there are boxing movies.
but I mean, this one also has Henry Winkler, and he is America's sweetheart.
He's also a
So
delight in this movie. I love the bit where he walks in on him doing the directing the like he is fully believable as a band teacher. Like he is so sweet in this movie.
absolutely.
I like Selma Hayek in this as well. She's also funny. Um,
And I like the when the Kevin James's character is in the UFC match with the one dude, and he's like he's Rocky Balboaing it and surviving
Yeah,
round after round.
that's the part where you have to be like I saw it's really funny because you were like, "Oh, I watched
And
this." And clips from it just start popping up on my TikTok and the comments are like, "Yeah, I just saw 5 illegal moves in the span of 30 seconds." So like
I
no.
mean, my thing was like right in the beginning when he's going into and I kind of appreciate this, but like when he goes into the fights like from the beginning and he's just dying.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
just dying. I'm like, yeah, this feels accurate to what would happen if a school teacher went and tried to do UFC.
Yeah.
He would get his ass kicked. But then like they start training him and he starts getting like actually good and I'm like, this is where you've lost me. I don't. He would have to train for years to get good enough to be in the
Well, I mean, to be fair, he
UFC.
does say cardio. Cardio is going to be your friend. Yeah, no. The ending bit where he's in the UFC and the guy's just wailing on him. I'm like, I've seen too many UFC matches to know that they would have stopped this like 5 minutes ago. UFC in particular are really like particular about stopping fights because they well
They
at
don't
least
want anyone to. They don't want anyone to die.
well I mean I don't know if they still are, but like yeah, there's a period where they were searching for legitimacy. So there's some stoppages that are real bullshit in UFC because they're particularly careful about their athletes not getting 100% injured. So refs are
Brain,
overly
brain,
cut.
brain damage. They don't want to
Well,
get brain
like
damage.
the whole thing with UFC has got called like human cockfighting, and they said it was explicitly violent and all this sort of stuff. So like they became I would argue, overly protective of their fighters around like UFC like 100, like post that, where it's like yeah they were very like regulated and made sure that they stopped fights at the right moment and like it's not like early UFC where you're punching guys in the gonads.
Okay. So we're gonna play a variation of this game. What do you think the budget was?
100 million.
Wow, you overshot a lot. The budget was 42 million. Now,
Really?
what do you think the box office was? Knowing that the budget was 42 million.
I'm pretty sure this bombed. I'm gonna say 20 million.
Nope, 73.1
Oh,
million.
that's still not great.
Not great, but it didn't quite
Because when you see
bomb.
a budget, so 40 million, you want to double it to include your marketing budget. So if it says 40 million, the budget's actually 80 million.
It says the budget is 42.
So then you double it. You double that to include your marketing and your PR. So it's more like 80 million. Hollywood accounting is weird.
Yeah, that's confusing.
Yeah.
But
Anytime you see a budget, you always want to double it. At least
but
double
the
it. Sometimes more.
but but the long and short of it is that it's fun. I like it. more people should watch it.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's a share. I would have saved it for next week. Where I'm like, yeah, not enough people have seen that movie. I've seen it more times than I care to count, but I have a great
Oh,
time every time I watch
I
it.
mean, I mean, I watched it this week. You could watch it next week.
This is true. I already have some for next week that I think I'm gonna do. Well, we're gonna talk about next week at the end. Anyway, Jordan, is that Here Comes the
Here
Boom?
comes the boom.
Here
Here
comes
comes
the
the boom.
boom. Here comes the. Also, like, yeah, there's elements of unrealism in there, but like the coaching and the people surrounding him are at least halfway decent actors and performers, for the most part.
Yeah.
For the most
Yeah, it's
part.
one of those movies where it's like, yeah, you got to suspend your disbelief.
Also, I cannot.
A school teacher would never be invited to go and fight in the UFC.
No, but also again, Boss Rutan is my favorite character in that movie. He has Twisty Twisty. He's
Twisty,
got
twisty.
he's got all the best jokes. Like he's got all my favorite jokes in that movie. Stomp to the face, victory dance. Super funny. Anyway, that's it for Here Comes the Boom.
Here comes the boom.
Boom, boom, firepower. Okay. Um.
Go
Okay.
on.
Which one do? Oh yeah, we got our
Continue.
next. So okay, this next half scene. Um. Now the what our first half scene. Now here's the thing. Okay, sometimes when it comes to movies, I feel like I've seen them. I have an associated memory with seeing them, but I don't remember the movie itself. And it's hard to know if I'm remembering a movie based on the fact that I remember seeing it or if I'm remembering a VHS preview off of a tape. Because there's definitely scenes in this movie that I remembered, but I think I remember them from commercials for this movie. Anyway, this is Angels in the Outfield.
Angles in the outfield.
Man,
Justin, you gotta stop. You're being selfish.
stop it.
Stop it. Get a drink of water.
I may have to when it's your turn to talk next.
Angles in the outfield.
Angles in the Outfield. So this is about a young kid played by an exceptionally young. I don't know if it's pre Third Rock from the Sun. I think it is. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in this, and he's a kid, like a wee little kid, and he's
A wee little boy.
he's a wee little boy, and he's a foster kid, and his dad is played by. He's one of those actors you know. I know him because I just saw him. He was one of the guys in Scream 6. It's Dylan Mulrooney, but I can't think of anything you would know him from. But I definitely know you know him, and he's a comedic bad father. The number one thing about plot of this movie is there's a foster kid, and he prays to heaven, and heaven sends him a bunch of angels to help his favorite baseball team cheat at baseball. That's straight up what he does. That's straight up what they do. We're going to get into it. But it's so cliched. Like, it's so cliched that it borders on parody. But I think it's sincere. So, like, the kid is in a foster home. And his dad shows up at the beginning. And is like, yeah, kid. I don't want you or love you. And I'm going to abandon you. Bye. But he says it in the gruff dad way, you know? And so he leaves. And he's like, the only way the only way we'll ever be a family is if the Angels, you know, your favorite team is still the Angels, right? And he's like, yeah, the only way we'll win or we'll be a family if they win some baseball tournament. And he's like, all right, okay, cool. And then he prays for it to happen. And then yeah, these Angels show up while he's watching this baseball game, and they start helping the baseball team win games. And like, but it's not like in ways that are subtle. So at a point, Christopher Lloyd shows up, and he's the boss angel. He's like, yeah, we help people who our help is random and sporadic, and you never know when it's going to happen. And it might not happen today. It might happen tomorrow. And the rules of it happening are different at best, from game to game. And so he's like, oh, and the number one thing is you can't tell anyone about us. And then he flies off, and you don't see him again for pretty well the rest of the movie. And yeah, the Angels are helping this baseball team win baseball games, and I'm just like, okay, so Angels are real. It just sort of seems to me
Angels are real, and for some reason they want to help cheat at
they
baseball.
want to help this kid cheat at baseball. Yeah, for some reason. And I'm just like, it just seems like there could be better uses of resources in terms of Angels than helping some kid win baseball games.
I mean, I could see you getting one angel, and he's your guardian angel.
No,
That's not
there's
a
like a team of Angels.
that's not a waste of angel resources. But having a team of angels put onto the case for the baseball game, that feels like a
And the
waste.
movie does this seemingly does this thing where like obviously only the one kid can see the Angels, and so he shows up and they start winning, but the Angels are causing them to do supernaturally impossible things. So the guy catches the ball and he like bends his body in a way that is impossible and catches it by leaping into the air. And at one
And
point,
and none of the adults question
well,
this.
at one point, the another one of the baseball players, he hits a home run, and the bat just explodes. And yeah, no, none of the adults are like, they're all like, well, angels are real in like a hypothetical sense kind of way. So like eventually, the Joseph
I mean,
Gordon-Levitt.
okay, even ignoring the angels of it all, you think they would be like, yeah, these kids are supernatural and weird, and this is different, and what the hell is
Well,
going on?
only Joseph Gordon-Levitt can see the angels. So he's got a little kid
Sure,
best friend. He's the
that's
only
not
one
what
who
I'm
can see
saying
the
though.
angels.
I'm saying that the adults are, as far as the adults are concerned, or any of the other people that aren't Gordon-Levitt, they're seeing these kids do things that kids can't do.
Oh no, no, it's not that the kids are doing stuff. It's the baseball players who are doing it. So the Angels are helping the baseball players.
Are the angel, are, yeah, so they're seeing kids do things that kids can't do because the kids are baseball
No, no,
players,
no. It's
right?
no. It's like the team is basically the Anaheim Angels, like the Major League Baseball team.
Okay, okay. Then they're seeing adults do things that adults can't do.
Yes, 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 yes. No, no,
Skating by what I'm
no,
saying.
no, no. The basically they're like Major League Baseball playing team. It's
Right.
like the Toronto Blue
That
Jays basically level of
that
baseball team.
everybody is seeing
Do impossible
do
things, yes, and
and
nobody
nobody is
questions it.
questioning.
Yes, yes, yes. That's the yes.
Okay. We've gotten to the point of it all.
Yes. They don't, but the movie, the adults in the movie just pretend as though they're getting lucky, but they're doing things that are literally impossible. And so there's a point where, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt has a little kid best friend who he can't see the angels. And so there's a, one of the, the stadium's commentators. So the whole plot of the movie is they become close with the coach of the Angels, who is keeping them around because he thinks that they're good luck. And the kid saying that he's seeing angels, but he doesn't really believe him. But this impossible stuff keeps happening that he can't really explain. So that's just sort of causing him to believe that the angels are real. And as the movie goes on, it's a big sports movie cliche. They become close as the movie goes on. And so then it gets the Angels are helping them win all these games. And as the movie goes on, it's like, okay, we have to follow certain rules. So if they curse or say any swear words, the Angels won't show up. If they're bad, then the Angels won't show up. If they tell anybody, the Angels won't show up. And so if Joseph Gordon-Levitt isn't there, the Angels don't show up for some reason. And so later on, there's a bit where they're at the prison, or they're at the courthouse, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt's dad is giving up custody, giving up his parental rights, basically. And he's like, I'm a piece of shit dad. I'm giving up my parental rights to the court. I don't know why I keep giving him a southern accent. And it's like, I don't love you anymore, or whatever. And so because Joseph Gordon-Levitt doesn't go to the game, the Angels lose. And the Joseph Gordon-Levitt's little best friend is crying, and the coach, played by Danny Glover, is like, don't worry about it, kid. It's just one game, whatever. and they the little kid tells this commentator guy who hates the coach for reasons that are never really explained. Um, and he tells the press that the team is winning because of angels, but it's presented as though like, oh, maybe the angels aren't real and it's just in the kid's head and it's all in her head, and they want you to think that Donald Glover might be crazy is the idea, but like the players are doing physically impossible things. So they have
This
no
movie
reason
sounds
to
bad.
not believe that angels exist. It's the weirdest thing ever. So then it gets to the final, like they go through all his lost moment, whatever, what have you, blah 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 blah, and it gets to the obviously Jordan, it's a sports movie.
Big competition?
There's a big game at the end, and so they get to the big game, and the team's doing all right or whatever, and Christopher Lloyd shows up, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt's like, "Oh, I wasn't sure you were gonna show up," and Christopher Lloyd's like, "No, we can't help you with championship games. They have their own special rules. You have to win that on your own." And it's like, wait, what?
That feels like an arbitrary
That
rule
feels
that you're
so
just saying.
arbitrary. You've been helping them cheat the whole season because, to be clear, that's what you're doing. You're helping them
We
cheat.
we can help get you to the final match and cheat in that way, but the final match we can't help cheat you with.
It just
It's
seems
just,
like the implication is
them's
supposed to be
them's the
like
angel rules, you know.
they're getting
It just sort of
better.
seems like you guys aren't angels and you're actually demons, and what you've done is an elaborate ruse of allowing us to think that we're gonna win and then ultimately setting us up to fail so we can't
This
win
feels
because you won't help us cheat
I'm just
anymore.
saying this feels oddly Faustian. Like I guess the implication is supposed to be like they're getting better because obviously it starts off they all suck. There's a bunch of oh, you know him. He's Damien Dark on Arrow, but we went to one of his panel at Fan Expo. Anyway, the pitcher Neil McDonald. He's the pitcher, and there's this bit where he just chews endless amounts of gum, like just a mouth. He just has a mouthful of gum. It has Matthew McConaughey, like a really young Matthew McConaughey is in it. Adrian Brody is randomly in it, very young Adrian Brody, and they're all players on the team. And then the movie ends with they solve the big game or whatever. They win the game and everyone's happy. And the Danny Glover adopts Joseph Gordon-Levitt and his little sidekick friend, and everyone's happy
Oh,
in the end. And they made two more of these.
oh, okay.
See, what's funny is I've never seen it, but I can very definitely remember the VHS commercial for Angels in the End Zone.
I don't.
No, that doesn't sound familiar. Angels in the End Zone doesn't sound familiar. I had no idea there was a third one, but I definitely remembered Angels in the End Zone. And I think Angels in the End Zone has Christopher Lloyd in it. Damn it, now I'm going to have to watch Angels in the End Zone, aren't I? If I can find it.
Yep.
I'm pretty
It's
sure
just
it has
just
Christopher
like
Lloyd in
just
it.
like I'm gonna have to watch another Airbud movie, Justin. You're gonna have to watch another
Yeah,
one of those.
it's a mid to late '90s schmaltzy sports movie that's like, man, the tone of this is all over the place at times. Disney, it's on Disney Plus. It's weird '90s movie. I'm sure. I hesitate to say it was bad. None of these movies were. No, that's not true. It's a mid to late '90s schmaltz. I'm pretty sure the commercials for it were on Toy Story. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was on Toy Story.
I could believe that it was on Space Jam.
It might have been on Space Jam. I just remember seeing the commercials for it because I remember there's a bit where Christopher Lloyd like lands and he appears and he puts on a baseball hat and he puts his hands on his hip, and I remember that scene like vividly. But there's so
I,
much of this
I,
that I couldn't
I,
remember.
I just remember there being a scene where there's an angel flying down, and the title comes up, and the announcer person is like they're the angels in the outfield.
Yeah, I remember that. That's the bit where the angels lift up the guy and he bends around in a way that's physically impossible and he catches the ball and he's like in the air and it's like that That's physically impossible. And then
Yeah, I don't remember all that. I just remember that very specific, like the angel carrying a guy down or whatever, or the angel landing, and that announcer voice
and
doing
then
that.
there's a bunch of weird implications later in the movie where they're like where everyone's obvious everyone's treating them like they're crazy for saying the angels are real, and so the one of the characters the foster parent who's like really nice is basically like what you believe in God, right? And they're all like, yeah, of course we believe in God. Like, what you're saying, you believe in God but you don't believe in angels, that's an inherent contradiction. And then the movie goes, it does that kind of sputter, like, oh shit, this is a Disney movie, we don't have the space or the time to deal with this, and then just doesn't answer it. It's that kind of movie where it's like, well, if angels exist, therefore God for some reason cares about the angels winning the cup. Like, I don't know why, but God really seems to care about the Anaheim Angels winning the cup for some reason.
Because it's their density,
Also,
Justin.
I think I mentioned this before, but just to wrap up, they clearly could afford the licensing for the logo and the uniforms, but couldn't afford the tell a lot of teams, but couldn't afford the rights to the names because they called them the California Angels, and then at a point the Blue Jays show up, like they play a game against the Blue Jays, the Toronto Blue Jays, but they never refer to the teams by their names
Yeah,
ever.
because then they would have to pay for the
They would
rights to
have to
use
pay.
them.
They have to pay the rights to the name, but I'm guessing they could afford the rights to the rights of the uniform. But it was really funny. Anyway,
I
that's
mean,
angles in
maybe,
the
but
outfield.
probably far more likely is the uniforms are almost identical with just enough differences that they don't have to pay anything.
I could also believe that, but I don't know. The Blue Jays uniform look. That's the one baseball uniform I'm like familiar with, and they looked reasonably
Yeah, sure, but like, but
believable.
I could believe it be like it's a thing where it's like there's like one strip missing or one stripe or one thing that's
Yeah,
missing
yeah, that's
that makes
fair.
it different, but it's so hard to notice that you would never pick up on it. I could
Yeah,
believe it's one of those
I could also
situations.
believe that too. But anyway, that's angles in the outfield.
So we now move on to have not scenes. And this is a movie where I remember the poster that we would always go to this one video store, and the poster for this was always on the wall. I think it was on the wall, like the glass wall as you would walk in or something. And in my memory, whenever the name is not directly in front of me, I always call it the Green Mile, even though that's not what it is. And I'm aware that's not what it is, but for whatever reason, that's the name my brain has assigned to this movie. But this movie's actual name is called The Big Green. Um,
The big
and
green.
it's came out in 1995. It's your classic Disney sports comedy movie where you have bad team who learn to be decent team and win the big game.
Ah, yes, gotta learn to get together, get along, and win the big sports game.
You know, that's been quite a number of
Does
my
it,
movies
did,
this
did,
week.
did, did, do they lose, but then ultimately learn a lesson in the end, or do they actually win the sports game in this one?
They lose the first round, come back and like work really hard and ultimately win.
So is the fat kid on the poster the main character?
He's one of them. Like it's basically the team is the character,
Gotcha,
and he's the goalie.
gotcha,
So the
gotcha.
reason why he's on the poster is because there's a running gag or a running thing in the movie where every time because they're all supposed to be like when they first start, none of them have heard of soccer. And they
Jordan,
have
I think you mean to call it football.
actually I do because the coach that comes in and begins teaching them is a like a transfer teacher from Surrey, England.
Oh snap!
And she's like, I'm gonna, in order to bring you guys together, I'm gonna teach you guys some football. And I maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but I seem to be there. Remember there being a joke about tackling, and her being, oh right, like you were in America. I guess I mean
Soccer.
soccer. Some joke of that
Of course,
variation.
it's everything that involves soccer. You have to call it
Football.
foot. Yeah, and there's always a joke, but it's actually called football. Except for
And
apparently in I think it's New Zealand or Australia, they also call it soccer.
you mean football?
No, they call it soccer.
Oh. Um, and yeah, so she introduces them to soccer as a novel attempt for them all to connect.
Wait, wait,
Um,
wait,
and
wait. You said sorry. I missed that. So you're telling me that this came out in the '90s, right? It's
yeah,
not like an angry white guy who has to come in and teach them a lesson, but also learn a lesson for himself. It's a woman this time.
it's no, it's a soft woman who. And hold on, we're gonna get to the guy.
Oh,
Um,
there is a guy. Okay, okay.
there is a guy, who comes in. He's the town's sheriff, who agrees to co-coach with her.
Gotcha.
He's not necessarily an asshole, but they're in Texas and he's a man.
Ah,
Uh,
so he's a sexist,
he's one of the
misogynist,
better
racist.
ones better ones that I've seen this week. Anyways, the reason why the fat kid is on the poster is because he's the goalie, and in the movie, every time the opposite team starts coming towards him with the ball, every time he sees like a different daydream where they're a different thing. So like one
Oh,
time they're zombies, one time they're pirates, one time they're ninjas, etc., etc. And
etc.
he
So on and so forth.
and he always freaks out and like jumps out of the way or like ducks down or like gets out of the way of the ball basically and makes it super easy for them to score.
I understand.
Um
I too love scoring.
so then over the course of the movie he has to get over that and the rest of the team has to get good and their team is
Wait,
they
Jordan,
end
do
up
they have
going
to get good at GUD?
yes.
Alright.
Um and their team is an eclectic group. So at one point they go
Ooh,
up against
eclectic. That's a big word for you.
shut up. At one point they go up against
Jordan, what does it mean?
a strange collection of
Damn
individuals.
it, I was hoping you would fail and it would be embarrassing for you.
I'm pretty sure that's what it means.
That sounds right, and I'm not going to Google it.
Um, but the team they end up going up against a team at one point. And the team is like all guys, all older, and they kick their ass. Because their team, our team, the hero team, is some of them are girls, some of them are little kids, some of them are like boys, and it's just a wider range of people, an eclectic group, if you will. And so the other coach, the coach on the bad guys team, he is sexist and awful because at one point the girls are going to kick and he's like, oh, like oh, they're going to be easy to take down, they're a bunch of little girls.
And I'm
um
all like, cap him in the kneecaps, bro.
and then our team wins and he gets they make a bet at one point where it's like if he loses he has to kiss their goat. um
Does he kiss the
and
goat?
he does because he loses.
Kiss
um
that goat.
and it's fun, it's a fun little romp.
It's a fun
uh
romp.
Here's the question, Justin. Yeah, keeping in mind this came out in 95, what do you think the budget was?
2 million. 2 milli.
12 million.
And they made 24
What
milli.
made 17.7 million?
Oh. 30 milli.
Get the fuck out.
40 and a half milli.
Is there anything else interesting? I don't think so. Oh, Steve Gutenberg is the deputy sheriff, the one that I
Of
mentioned.
course he is, because this movie came out in the 90s. It had to be Steve Gutenberg,
Is there anyone else?
inventor of the printing press.
Jordan Brower.
Martin Brower?
No, Jordan Brower.
Oh. Jordan Brower?
That's all I can think of. Oh, Coach Jay Huffer is J.O. Sanders. He's the sexist one.
All right. All
That's it.
right.
Oh,
Eru.
apparently this one was theatrically released, which surprises me because it really gives straight to DVD
I mean, I
vibes.
just remember the yeah, you mentioned the poster, so I just remember it was in DVD. It
Nope,
was
apparently it had a theatrical run.
it was in DVD. You know what, Jordan?
No, just 95 when we saw that poster, that would have been VHS.
That is true. True. Well, we'll end on the easy, not I have not much to say. One. We'll do the one I have a lot to say about first.
Oh, goody.
Okay. This is the whole reason why I picked this week because I really wanted to watch this movie, and I desperately wanted to like this movie, Jordan. I wanted to like this movie so much, and I'm really glad I didn't subject you to it. This is The Smashing Machine.
And Smashing Pumpkins?
I mean, he definitely smashes some pumpkins. This is a biographical piece about the MMA fighter Mark Kerr, starring The Rock and Emily Blunt and Ryan Bader, and it's about the fight career of Mark Kerr and his sort of travels, his life and his drug addiction, and his
Sorry. I have to go back. So, Bader. Master Beta?
no, Vader,
Did
Vader,
Oh,
VA.
Vader. I thought you said Bader.
I'm pretty sure it's Vader. Hold on, let me make sure I didn't. I'm pretty sure it's VADR, Vader.
If it's the one from Boy Meets World, then yeah, it's Vader.
No. No. It's not that guy. That guy's Vader. Hold on.
I'm just as soon as you said Bader, my brain was like, how do I turn this into a joke?
Hold on. I'm gonna make sure.
What sort of activities did Master Beta get up to?
Oh, sorry, Bader. Bader at BADER. Bader. Ryan Bader. So yeah, you absolutely could do a Ryan. You could absolutely do a masturbator joke.
So what sort of activities did Master Beta get
The
up to?
Master Beta get up to. Oh man, that poor guy. Anyway, that's why I was really glad that you I was really
Hmm.
glad that you had something with Boss Rutan in it,
Wow.
so I didn't have to explain who Boss Rutan was because he's in this movie as himself. So yeah, this is basically the he was a fighter in early UFC. So at one point you see him fighting in UFC 14, and then he goes on to do Pride fights, and it's kind of a bad movie. Like I desperately wanted to like this movie, but it's really tedious. Like a lot of it, like it's 2 hours long, and it could probably be an hour and a half long, because so much of it is just The Rock walking down hallways or like walking into changing rooms, dressing rooms, or whatever. Like there's scenes which are just excruciatingly long conversations. Um, the just not to jump ahead, but the movie ends with you seeing the real guy, which I normally love, because you're like, oh, okay, you get to, like, I'm okay. We'll do a positive. The Rock is pretty good in this. It's definitely like The Rock is an okay actor and not The Rock is being lazy. Um, he pretty well nails the guy in a way that is kind of impressive. We're like, yeah, if you're looking for a thing where the guy's being the guy, this is it. And Mark Kerr, if you're into mixed martial arts and MMA and the UFC, is absolutely a pioneer in the sport. Mark Coleman is another major character in this, and he's also a major player in the early days of the sport. And I absolutely believe, like I said, with Here Comes the Boom, that there needs to be more MMA movies. This made me go, why is there not a movie about UFC 1?
Uh, that's a good question because it's too violent, I
I
guess.
don't. I mean, not really, but I mean, like, um, because yeah, I would totally watch a movie. The creation of UFC 1 and the behind the scenes like stories of UFC 1 and UFC 1 itself are insane, and you cannot deny would make a great movie.
I would never deny that.
Um, but this is tedious. The performances are pretty good. Like I say, Emily Blunt, he's his girlfriend who is also awful, because the whole thing is through sorry, I'm getting away from my mind is sporadic here. Sorry. You see Mark Kerr, the real one, at the end of the movie, which tells me that he was involved in this. So, the main reason to watch a biopic or a thing about a guy is to do warts. Like you
To
want
do to
warts.
do
Like
warts?
you want when it comes to a person, you want to see like warts and all. Did we
Oh,
not do? Did I not do?
boils to do boils.
We didn't talk about the Michael Jackson trailer, did we? Shit. Because I wanted to say this about that. Um, if you're just looking for a biopic to look like the guy and be a sanitized version of this person's life, where you never get to see any of the negative stuff, um,
Like the Michael Jackson one that they're making. Good segue. I've set you up.
yeah, we'll talk about it really briefly now. That how did I skip over that trailer? How did that happen? Um, that's weird. I don't know how that happened. Anyway,
Especially because I specifically mentioned in during the
yeah,
news that
we're gonna do
you.
it really quickly here. Um, and then I'm gonna cut this out and put it with the news. That trailer, that Michael Jackson trailer, if you're looking for something that looks like the guy, like if you're looking for a movie where hey he sure looks like the guy, and it's gonna be a nice, clean, sanitized version without any of the warts. Like the only reason to watch a biopic, in my opinion, is to learn about how much of a bad person the person that you idolized is.
See, I don't agree. I think that that's not what the point of a biopic is. A point of the biopic, that's what a documentary is for. Point of the biopic is to get the sanitized version.
I mean I guess it depends on the context of the biopic, but I'm like for me if you're telling the story about the true gritty real version of that person, if you want to tell who that person was, if you want to make it about their side, okay, let's make it about their side. But yeah, there's mysteries and unanswered questions. If you're not going to answer those, I'm not really interested in watching a guy who kind of looks like Michael Jackson sing the songs. It's not really interesting to me. Like I want to learn about his bad childhood. I want to learn about the things that made him tick. Like I want to learn about him as a character. I don't want to watch recreated versions of music videos. So that to tie back into this,
Yeah, I know. So
because
in that instance, I would say I don't want to see the character. I want to see the person.
it reminds me too much of the Freddie Mercury and the
Yeah.
the Elton John biopic. Where you're like, well, you're not really getting into the meat and potatoes of who
Yeah,
you're
well,
doing a real
that's where I say a biopic to me is really an example of the Victor writes history.
yeah.
Uh like if you want the gritty, dirty behind the scenes stuff, that's usually what a bi like a biog not
The reason why I
biography,
say that it does tie into this because because
documentary. A documentary is for
like
that.
when the person who the movie is about, I discovered this week, is involved in a movie about their life, it becomes one-sided. So
Yep.
this movie paints the girlfriend as being a total bitch, and him like, oh, he's constantly the reasonable one. But also wants to present him. So I should say, like, because the real guy was involved in the making of the movie, was still alive when it was being made, he gets to be like, no, 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 no. I want you to downplay all the parts where I come across as an asshole. So like they tell us that he does a lot of drugs and drinks and parties a ton. So like early on in the movie, he loses a fight and they say it's because he's on drugs and because he's been out partying. But I went back and rewatched the bit prior to it. They never show that. They just show him talking to negotiating with the Japanese people about what he's going to get paid for fighting and whatnot. But they don't show his destructive behavior. They say he's destructive, and they hint that he is, but they never actually show it. It's a case of telling and not showing. And they constantly show the girlfriend as being this awful naggy shrew of a woman who's constantly on his case and won't just do the things he asks her to. And it comes across as like he's the one who has had the input on this story and not her. And it feels like it's his perspective of this, but
Yeah.
not like a third party person telling. It's like he's had input on this, and it reads that way, and it makes a lot of the negative stuff about his life feel disingenuous.
I mean, you know what they say. History is written by the victor.
Also, The Rock produced this, so The Rock is all right. There's a he sort of more or less gets lost in this role a little bit. He's wearing prosthetics that you do not notice until like the 2/3 of the way into the movie. He shaves his head for some reason, and he just becomes The Rock. And he shaves
I
his head,
mean,
and he just sorry.
I was gonna say, I mean, wouldn't you want to just shave your head and become the Rock if
No,
you
but I
could?
mean, he's supposed to be Mark Kerr. He stopped being Mark Kerr, and he just looks like The Rock,
Sure,
except for
but why?
the really noticeable prosthetics he's
But
wearing
but
that look bad
but why be Mark Kerr when you can be the Rock?
because he's supposed to be Mark Kerr. That's the whole
But
point of
what?
this movie.
But but why be him
Um,
when you could be the Rock?
because that's the character he's supposed to be playing.
Nah, he's meant to be
Um,
the Rock.
and so yeah,
Can't
it's
you
really dumb.
smell?
It's like,
Can't you smell what the Rock is
I
cooking?
didn't notice. I didn't notice it again until he shaved his head. I was like, yeah, he's definitely wearing terrible looking prosthetics. Um, the the guy I mentioned earlier, who was a major player in this, his friend who trains him, Mark Coleman. So, Ryan Bader, who we joked about, he's a MMA fighter. He is atrocious in this. He's an MMA fighter. He is not an actor. He is for some reason playing Mark Coleman, and he is atrocious. He has no range. There's a scene where Mark Kerr is in the hospital after overdosing, and The Rock is like breaking down in tears and giving this like chewing the scenery kind of he thinks he's gonna win an Oscar performance, and Ryan Bader's like, yeah, man, we're friends. And he's just stone faced. He's giving nothing. It's horrible. It just comes like the only reason I can think as to why you would hire him is because you want the fight scenes to look believable, but the fight scenes also look bad. Like, the only reason to do an MMA movie in terms of combat is to have it look brutal. Like, it doesn't have to be bloody. Like, there is bloody bits in this, but it has to be brutal. Like, say what you will about Here Comes the Boom, the fight sequences in that movie look good. Like, they look believable and they look like fights. This is awful. It pure like the best to me the gold standard for MMA fights in a movie is Warrior. That's the gold standard to me. Am
I
I
don't
wrong?
disagree.
Yeah.
I really like the Warrior.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, like, putting aside the story and the reasons why we like that, but the fights and like Tom Hardy's fights in those movies, hell, Joel Edgerton's fights in those movies look 1,000 times better than the fights in this movies because the director, I think it's Benjamin Safdie, he cuts like so much that you can't really see the fights, and that's the whole reason to turn up to a movie like this is to see that the fights are good. Right, but and the fights also look bad. They're so choppy and shaky and cutty that you don't really see anything. And then at a point, Boss Rutan shows up and plays himself, and I guess he must have trained this guy at a point in his career. But it's like today Boss Rutan, so he looks old. So it doesn't make any sense. Like it would have. I mean, I don't know who you would have gotten to play Boss Rutan, but like he's not as good as he is in Here Comes the
Nobody
Boom because
nobody
he's older.
nobody plays Boss Bob, but like Boss Bob.
I don't think anyone can play Boss Rutan other than Boss Rutan now. Um, but yeah, Ryan Bader, he's awful. He's terrible. Like I said, the direction's bad. The story feels like it's really fluffy. The only thing is he loses in the end, and there's a big competition he's training for, and he does lose at the end. Um, yeah, he's doing a funny voice, which is pretty funny. Um, yeah, I want this to exist because, like I say, I believe in more. There should be more MMA movies, but we could do better than this. Like this was bad. I did not think this was very good, and I was like, was this well received? And it's got a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes. It bombed. I'll spare you the box office, but it bombed horribly. But the thing that irritated me about it bombing horribly was like people be like, oh, it's a rock movie and it bombed horribly. Well, yeah, but I mean, you've seen the trailer for this. It's a small scale independent movie. They're not meant to make billions of dollars. It's meant to make a comfortable like $15 million and that's it. You know what I mean? Like it's not meant to make
Yeah.
Not it's not a
It's not an Oscar.
it's not an Oscar movie. It's not a Marvel movie. Oh, I cannot believe I forgot to talk about the Michael trailer. That really makes me mad. But that's okay. It just means this video will be longer. That's it. That's the Smashing Machine. It was kind of bad. I really wanted to like it. I was so disappointed I didn't like it more.
Does it check any of the boxes?
It does, yeah. It's pretty. It's more closer to like a biopic sports movie than it is like a team sports movie. So it's more interested in being about that guy. But like I say, it shaves off all of the
All the teeth.
edges, all of the teeth, all of the thing that makes a person complex, and tries to be like, oh, this guy's a like I say, it shows you the guy at the end, right? It ends with it, and to be fair, I quite like the transition. Like it basically the he loses his big fight, and his friend goes on to win the tournament, the big tournament, and the final shot of The Rock as this character is him sitting in his locker room as it does this slow push in on his close up of his face, and a certain song is playing in the background, and then there's a hard cut, and it cuts to there's just a guy shopping in a grocery store, and the song that was playing loudly before is now playing on the background in the background on the radio, and it's the actual guy, and it's showing him shop, and you get to see him talk, and there's a bit where you see him interacting with a cashier, and the big thing is that it tries to pretend like this is an original idea or concept, the idea that fighters are not angry monsters who hate each other. Like it does that, they want you to show that he's a
I mean,
nice guy.
that's just not true. They're all angry people who hate each other. I don't know
It's
what you're talking about.
my favorite. I will say that it's not to say there's removed of stuff I liked. Like there was a scene I quite liked where, all the commentators are outside being like, "Yeah, man, these guys they're getting ready to go in there and fight each other. They must be inside each other's heads." And it just cuts them in the locker room, and they're both just reading a magazine together. That's really funny. I was like, "That's funny."
That's funny. That's
Anyway,
funny.
that was
I
the
like that.
Smashing Machine.
Okay, well, to round out this week, Justin. So it's funny. I watched Hardball, but it's funny because when you look at the poster, it has Keanu Reeves' name above Hardball. So the entire week I was like, is it called Hardball or is it called Keanu Reeves Hardball?
I can see why you would say that. I I look.
Like, you know what I mean? You've seen the poster, right?
I
Like,
do
you know
know
what I'm
what you
talking
mean.
about?
This movie's so funny. You could tell that Keanu Reeves is a bad guy because once again because he smokes. So you know he's a
And
bad guy.
gambles.
Smokes and gambles. Yeah. No. Okay. What's funny is Hardball. I've seen this movie. That's the funniest bit about it. I watched it on TV years ago. It's like anytime I want to go to like an obscure Keanu Reeves movie, I guarantee you've never heard of, I automatically go to Hardball. I don't know why. I don't know why I remember it. I think it comes out after The Matrix. So I think it's during that period after The Matrix where he wants to be taken seriously as an actor. So it's like one of the few movies where he doesn't talk like
It
Keanu Reeves.
it came out the weekend
After The Matrix.
September 11th attacks.
Oh. So, but did it come out after The Matrix?
I don't know. I don't know when The Matrix came out. This came out September 14th, 2001.
Yeah, I think it did because I think The Matrix is 99. So he's like,
Um,
because he went through it. He went through a whole thing. Like everyone, nobody kind of realizes with Keanu Reeves. Like prior to John Wick, everyone is like Keanu Reeves is this badass, respected actor, but he wasn't. He did a lot of shitty movies, and this is one of them.
oh, I don't think I would call this one shitty.
To my recollection, it's very poorly received, and everyone made fun of him for it.
I can't speak to that, but
I
I'm talking about my experiences with it.
I like this movie. There's a
Um,
lot about it. I love the only reason why I
did you
know.
know it's based on a book?
I did not know that. No.
It's based on a book called Hardball, a season in the projects.
I just I just remember the one thing I
It
remember about this
has
movie is
it has a hold on, don't spoil shit.
the kid who dances to "I Love You, Big Papa."
Oh. Oh, I thought you were gonna. Oh, yeah. He's also a thing.
That's the only reason why I know the song "I Love You, Big Papa." I love it when you
This
call me Big
movie
Papa. It's because
this
there's a
movie
bit
has
where
This movie has a very depressing
where
ending.
he dances while he pitches. He's like, yeah, you gotta listen to the headphones while you pitch. It makes you a good pitcher. And then
Yeah,
they don't let him use the headphones.
until he starts like doing too good, and then yeah, the other adults are like, no, it's a safety thing. You can't have the headphones on, and I'm like, I'm not gonna say I don't see their point because yeah, I see their point.
I can kind of see that point a
Um,
little bit.
I can see their point. I can see how it could be a safety thing, but also dick move.
It just feels like you're being racist.
Not even just so much that.
Let
It
the boy
just
listen
you
to his
just
hip hop. But also, yeah, he
just
can't hear the ball coming, so like I kind of get it.
can't hear anybody calling to him or anything. So like
Yeah,
I get it.
I kind of get it.
But like then they do the thing where it's like he's listened to the song so many times that he just hears it in his head and
And he's
he's
like, I
fine
love it
anyway.
when you call me Big Papa.
Like
Put the hands in the air like you's a true player.
there's the entire scene where the team is singing it and the audience is singing it and he starts throwing and he's doing good again. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, it's cute. And yeah, I mean, it's your typical Dick comes and is forced to
Yep.
be the
The
coach
guy's forced to be the coach, and
and
then he learns the
he
boys
he
touch him, and he touches the boys.
no, don't do that. Don't. No.
Spiritually and
No.
emotionally.
He impacts their lives.
By touching them.
And no. No, don't do that. Don't don't ever do that.
By
Um
touching them.
but and so yeah, this movie 'cause it's taking place in the projects in I think it's New York. Um there's some crime and some violence and so it has kind of a sad ending. And by kind of I mean it has a sad ending where so the team has all of its members and then there's a little kid who's too young to play. And so Keanu Reeves can only give the uniforms to the kids that are old enough. They get first pick or whatever, and the little kid cries and he's like, "But I'm still part of the team, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so the kid will play during practice and stuff like that. And so it gets to the big game, one of the big games, and one of the kids isn't able to play or he gets hurt or something like that. I don't remember. And the little kid steps in and does a little piddly hit or whatever and wins them the game. And Keanu Reeves drops him and this other kid off to like go up to their place and drives off or whatever. And the little kid, the littlest kid, the youngest kid, the young kid gets shot
Oh no!
and dies.
I do remember this. Yeah, it's very sad.
And it's
He's just like,
sad. It's
man,
genuinely
this is.
sad.
I hate movies
Like I'm
that do
like
that. Where you're like, whoa, tonal whiplash, man.
like kind of like on the one hand it's like earlier in the movie we had a scene where the fat kid is getting like gets the shit kicked out of him by people who steal his bag and stuff. So like there's precedent for it and they live in the
I
projects.
mean, they do
So
live in the projects.
you know kind of what to expect there, but it's still sad. And so then like the next scene is they're at a funeral or whatever, and Keanu Reeves gets up and does this whole speech about how he puts him in the game and he describes the game and stuff. And he's like, in that moment that like he genuinely like he made me into a better person.
Like I say, I've
And
touched
and
those
it's
boys
just
and they've touched me too.
it's just really sad and really really I think Keanu Reeves does a really good
No,
job in
I
that
like this
scene.
movie. I'm gonna have to rewatch this movie now. I'm gonna have to find an excuse to rewatch. Maybe I'll no. No,
And
next
and
week might be too soon.
and I think it's a movie that more people should watch. Um, and so then it gets to the end, and Keanu Reeves is like the people in charge of the tournament or whatever have agreed to basically to cancel it in light of what's happened. Um,
And he's
and
like, no, don't cancel it. He wouldn't have
well,
wanted me to cancel it.
the team is basically like, no, fuck that.
Devontae
In
wouldn't
in
have
in
wanted
ni-
this.
in nice way, like nice words or whatever. Like, no, fuck that. Like he G baby would want us to win this, and
Exactly. He wouldn't want it.
and so they wear black armbands, take the field, and win the championship.
Hell yeah, they do.
And that's how the movie ends. Is it ends with them with Keanu Reeves holding the championship trophies and celebrating. And
And
it's really sweet. Like it's just the character growth because like the entire point of the Keanu Reeves character is like he's a big time gambler. So there's this point where he's like he's made enough money back to pay back all his debtors. And then his gambling buddy is like, we're gonna like invest the money, the 24 grand, and keep this train rolling, right? And Keanu Reeves is like, no, like I'm out. And like the gambling friend is like just confused. He's like, what?
so remind me, how does Keanu Reeves wind up being a baseball coach?
He gets in bad with like multiple loan sharks. And I can't remember if it's a friend or if it's like his dad's friend or someone his dad worked with, but he goes to this one guy, uh, uh, and he's like, I need like $1,000 or whatever, like I need more money. And the guy is like, I already gave you like 500 or something, 5,000 for your dad's funeral, and I found out that all these other guys also gave for your dad's funeral. So like what's up with that? Like do you need like another funeral or whatever? And he's calling him out on it, and then he's like, I'll make you a deal. And he writes him a check for 500, and he's like, you get 500, like 500 a week or something like that to coach this team for me.
Oh. Oh.
And then he does, and then he takes the money. Keanu Reeves takes the money that he's been earning, and he puts it on a big bet, and he wins enough to pay back all his debtors,
And then,
and then still have a little bit extra.
all right, all right. Good for
But
Keanu
yeah,
Reeves.
good movie, good movie, solid movie. Needs to be watched by more people. I approve. This message.
It's time for final movie, Jordan.
I
Jordan,
mean,
Jordan,
that was my final
it's time.
movie.
It's time to sing the final movie of the week song.
Da 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 da.
The final movie of the
It's the
week.
final movie.
Movie.
Do 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 do. Do do
If
do
we had any infrastructure or technology, there'd be like a logo that popped up. It's the final
do
movie.
do
So the
do.
final movie, Jordan, I don't have a whole ton to say about, and that's because this was the movie that honestly that did breed or create
Attempt?
the checklist that we have used today. All of the cliches, and that's a movie called Coach Carter. And as I was watching this, okay, here's a question, Jordan. If you watch 90% of a movie on TikTok in clips, does that count as watching a movie?
No.
Cause like I had seen a lot of this in clips on TikTok, but I had never actually sat down and watched the whole thing until this week.
Go on.
Basically, Coach Carter. It stars Samuel L. Jackson. A young Channing Tatum is in it for some reason. You know what? Let's find out just for shits and giggles, because he's really young. As like
Hmm.
basically this movie takes place in the it takes place in the projects, just like yours did, and it's about a coach played by Samuel L. Jackson, who is offered a job coaching the basketball team, and the basketball team is a bunch of fuck ups and losers, and like people from like they're the one guy who you don't know, but I know him from Arrow. Is one of the is like the most talented player, but he's a drug dealer for his cousin, and they're all like doing bad in school and whatnot. Oh my god, yeah, yeah. His first okay, so that's interesting. So this movie, Coach Carter, is his first movie. Jordan,
Yes.
Jordan, you're not there. You're gone, Jordan. You're gone. Now I'm just staring
I'm
at an
he
arm.
I'm here.
I'm
I'm here.
now I'm staring at nothing.
I'm here. I hear you.
I'm talking to nothing.
Uh,
Um,
Okay. I'm here. I was here all along.
so Jordan, just so you know, this movie Coach Carter
It
is Channing
is
Tatum's first
is
movie.
is brought to you by the letter B and the number 50.
Yeah, so yeah, his character Jason Lyle. This is his first movie, and
Lyle Lyle Crocodile.
your movie. So that's so fascinating. So okay, so this is Jason Lyle first movie, 2005. She's the Man. It's not his first movie. Um, it is technically his fourth or fifth movie, but he does She's the Man, and then so he had been in stuff before She's the Man. Um, and
Very
he goes
interesting.
on to be in Step Up, which is the movie that like made his career. It's the reason why he's famous. So, you know, that's the reason why he's
No,
famous.
Justin. The reason he's famous is Magic Mike.
I mean, that's certainly why he's famous as an adult. Anyway, so yeah, so Coach Carter comes in and it's all a bunch of like screw ups and fuck ups and whatever. And he comes in with the condition: if you want to play foot or basketball for me, Coach Carter, you have to sign a contract. And the contract says you have to maintain a 2.3 grade point average. You have to be front row in class at the games. You have to wear a suit and tie, and I think that was it.
I
And
mean, it doesn't feel like a suit and tie is optimal wear for being in basketball.
when you show up to the game, you're dressed in a suit and tie, and then when you get changed into your basketball clothes. But it's to show respect. They do that in the NBA. They'll show up in suits and ties and whatever. Um,
Okay, seems stupid, but all right.
well, that's what they're like. They're like, that's dumb, and he's like, it shows respect or whatever. And I'm whatever. And so initially, all the kids are like, no, we don't want to do schoolwork and be good at grades and all this sort of stuff. And like a few of them like storm out or whatever. And
Throw hissy fits.
they initially sign the contract so they can play basketball, whatever, and it goes through the year, and like it's a typical sports movie. They're starting to get along and like learn how to play basketball, and they start to win games because they're big losers when they start off. And Coach Carter is demanding progress reports of the teachers so that he can know what their grades are, because if the grades aren't good enough, they can't play. And he finds out that the one team member, his grades aren't good enough, so we won't let him play. But then he finds out that all of the team's grades are bad, or not all of them are bad, but like a lot of them are bad. And he's like, if we're a team together, team apart. So until as a team we get our grade point average up, no more basketball. We're not practicing. We're not playing. We're not playing games, and the gym is
Oh,
locked.
what, coach? Yo, that's fucking whack.
That's pretty much what they're like. And but this is where I'm like, and I've said this before, I'm saying it again. I'm not a sports guy, so sports means nothing to me. So when a game gets canceled, I could care less. And I'm not American, and my experience in high school was different. And so maybe sports, high school sports in an American city where there's nothing else to do is more engaging than I think. But like this town becomes overly invested in this high school basketball team. It's not even that it's a local like amateur like basketball team. It's a high school basketball team. So at one point, yeah, he's like, no more basketball until the kids get their grades up. So every practice they go to the library and they study, and the media shows up, but it's not like a little bit of the media. It's like an entire courtroom, not courtroom, but like schoolyard of reporters from like the gym to like the end of the school property, just filled with reporters. And I'm like, they're like, these are all local reporters, and I'm like, there's like at least 50 or 60 of them. No, maybe not that many, but there's a lot. More than 4 or 5. I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like the local reporters would be at best 4 or 5 reporters. I don't know. That's just me. But then later on,
I think it depends on the town and how little there is going on.
I guess, yeah. So then anyway, so then the movie goes on. Everyone's mad at him, and they're demanding that the kids play basketball, and that they open up the gym and they start playing games again. And Coach Carr's like, nope, not until their grades get up. But like at no point do any of them ever ask the kids what they want to do, or
No,
what
Justin,
their input is on this?
This is Samuel Jackson. That's way too nice. He would have been like, "Nah, motherfucker, I ain't able to open all those doors till those kids get
Uh,
A's."
And so no, that's the thing. He's not even asking for A's. He's asking for C pluses. That's what he wants. That's what a
Oh, he just wants the
2.3.
bare minimum,
Yeah, he's
man.
like he wants just because his whole oeuvre, his whole thing is that
Mantra.
is that he wants the kids to get into college. He wants them to have a future because this school is
Yeah,
in
he
the
wants he
projects.
wants them to have a backup plan.
Yeah, he's like these schools in the projects, like only 5% of the students graduate, and they mostly like one of the subplots is one of the players is uh girlfriend is pregnant and like it's like like they end up poor and disenfranchised and working paycheck to paycheck. He's like, I don't want that for my guys. I want them to go to university and college. And 2.3 it basically gets you a C plus, which gets you into college basically. And as the movie goes on, the guys realize that we want more out of life than living in the projects. And so
So
because
does it check the boxes?
it gets to the end and there's a big confrontation. Yes, it absolutely does. It gets to the end and there's a big confrontation where there's a meeting with a bunch of I guess it's supposed to be the school board and the principal, and a room full of parents who are all demanding that the kids play basketball. The kids have to play basketball. They have to play basketball. And it's a room of like at least 20 people, like 15, 20, 30 people. Like it's like a big conference room full of people.
Sounds
Being
like a group full of negligent parents.
we're all like, oh, the kids need to play basketball. Fuck whatever sense of like,
Education.
that you want out of these kids or whatever. Fuck. And so then, he's like, if you force me to open up the gym, I'm gonna quit. And so they all vote to open the gym or whatever. And he goes to take his stuff and quit. And he walks in, and all the students are like, yeah, we're with you and we're on your side, so we're not gonna play until the grades come up. And it's like nobody really asked us what our input was in this. And they're like, yeah. So then they study and they whatever get the
Pull
grades
their
up,
shit together.
pull their shit together, get the grade point average up, and they play basketball. And yes, there's a big competition at the end, and they all come together as a team. And
And they all live
they
happily
there's,
ever
there's a
after.
bit where the bad kid, his cousin gets shot in a robbery gone wrong, and he turns his life around. And there's a bit that's the bit at the end where the boys have touched me, but I've also touched them.
Ugh.
Where he stands, like the one guy stands up because throughout the movie, Samuel L. Jackson keeps asking him, what are you afraid of?" And he's not he doesn't answer him. And finally, at the end, he does "You've saved my life, coach. You've touched my life in immeasurable ways." And it's a relatively subdued performance from Samuel L. Jackson. It's funny he's really quite laid back, like for Samuel L. Jackson, like kind of laid back in this. It's an absolute cliche of a sports movie, and if you like cliched team sports movies, man, you'll dig this. To me, it reminded me a lot of Remember the Titans, which is a movie I love. So if you like Remember the Titans, you'll enjoy this. Although this one isn't really about racism so much, ish.
I mean, is life not about racism,
Yeah, I
Justin?
suppose that's true. That's it. That's sports ball.
Woo!
And so, with that, next week, ladies and gentlemen, let's check this. Let's check this
Before it wrecks us.
Next week, is our 100th episode, everybody, and as such, when we have big commemorative episodes, I'm fucking with the format because it's what I do. I mess with the format. So next week we're throwing out have not scenes, we're throwing out rapid fires, we're throwing out have scenes, and we're doing a top 10 because theoretically we're supposed to have guests next week, and it's gonna be a top 10 movies you've maybe never heard of or have heard of. We'll find out, and we're gonna try to convince some of the people who show up on that day to either watch or not watch these movies that they may or may not heard of. We're going to be like, have you heard of it? And we are at 298. So if we get 2 more subscribers in a week, we will be partaking in Carolina Reaper Black Cherry Hot Sauce.
Oh, so you're just trying to kill us.
Yeah. Either that or the Ghost Pepper, because I don't like black cherry. Honestly, that's the only thing that's saving you from the Carolina Reaper sauce is I don't like black cherry. So it might be ghost
I
pepper.
mean, Justin, it doesn't really matter which you choose. At that temperature, you're not tasting anything.
I can taste the
All
difference.
you're tasting is death.
No,
All you're
I
tasting is unrelenting, painful death.
no actually these sauces they're not extract based sauces. They're pepper mash sauces, so they're actually not as spicy as you would think. Like that's not to say they're not spicy,
I I call bullshit.
but hopefully we need 2 more subscribers. So folks, tell your friends so that we can potentially eat hot
Oh,
sauce in front of our friends on live on the internet next week.
on
I
our
want that to
100th
happen on our
episode.
100th episode. Like I almost just to wrap just before we jump into the end of the show plugs. I almost bought the hot sauce yesterday, but it felt overconfident. So I'm really hoping that happens before next week. I'm really hoping. But that's the 100th episode. I'm so excited. I cannot believe we've done 100 episodes of this. That is wild. Like that we've committed to this for so long. I'm so excited. I'm really hoping all the people who have said that they might make it can make it. I like they've all said they can. I never hold anyone to anything, but it'll be really fun. We're right now maybe 4 guests, 5 guests potentially for next week. Maybe I don't want to
Okay.
overpromise. I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, but that could be what's happening. Anyway, Jordan, where can the people find you? I have to
I
end this.
do Minecraft Monday on Twitch, Zethgore187, my ever-growing world. Come check us out.
Come
And
check
I do
them
this.
out on Sundays. I also do this on Sundays, but I'm on TikTok, and I've got over 2,000 followers on there. You could be one of them if you go follow me
You know,
there.
we do this on Sundays, but if people wanted to come on and have a spur of the moment conversation, we have a brand new spin-off, which is the perfect place to do that
On Saturday,
on
ideally
Saturdays.
on Saturday.
Ideally, although it's depending on who it is, conditions can be
We're
arranged.
open to weekends, but or weekdays, but it depends. It depends. Everything's negotiable. Anyway, you can find me on TikTok. I'm on TikTok. I'm Justin Spurr on TikTok, or you can find this show on TikTok. Spur of the Moment P. You can email me and the show at itsjustinsbusiness@gmail.com. You can join the Patreon or the Discord. Leave us a comment about anything you saw today that you found interesting. To give me shit for forgetting to put that Michael trailer in. I seriously don't know how that happened. Anyway,
And Justin, how many days of content are there every week?
7. There is 7 days a week content. That's why you should hit subscribe. Because 7 days, every single day, there is something new. Whether it's the actual podcast on Sunday, or Jordan, a video on Monday, or Tuesday, or Wednesday, or Thursday, or Friday, or Saturday, or the shorts that we put out multiple times a day. You can
You know,
follow that.
we have our Discord, we have our Patreon, we have
And if you
our
want to
Justin's
see
email.
last week's episode, you're going to click the box on the left that has at some point popped up. Or if you just want to see a random video that YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy, you're going to click that box on the right. You're going to hit subscribe if you haven't already because of all the content. You're going to leave us a like.
Like,
And
share, subscribe.
you're
Like,
gonna come
share,
back next week
subscribe.
for our 100th episode where we may be eating hot sauce.